up? This is our 2-year anniversary show, man. What's going on, Coop? How you doing, man? Happy Friday, brother.
Made it here by grace.
Yes, definitely, man. It's always good to catch up on a Friday, catch up with the people, catch up with the folks that are out there listening to us through, whatever streaming platforms there are. We're going to talk about a lot today, man, because I know our Wednesday show, even though it was good, we got off on a tangent about something that wasn't even on the program, and we kind of ran short on time, so we're going to catch up a little bit. And we're going to wait for some people to get in the room, man. I want to shout out to my guy P, man, photographer out there in Connecticut doing dope work. I want to shout out to everybody in the room and everybody who's subscribed to the According to Hip Hop channel. We really, really appreciate it, man. You guys have really brought some incredible discussions to life, and discussions that we have in private, usually about hip hop. We really get the outside world's input on it. I think it's really dope, man.
Good.
Cheers to another 2 years and another 20 to 100,000 subscribers and more, engagement in the future, man. I'm looking forward to it.
I'm addicted to our growth more than anything else, Mike. I'm part of this. It's been like addictive for me. Because I've been doing this with you for almost 7 years now. It feels like 6 or 7. It feels like.
Yeah, on the writing end and just going back and forth. Shout out Terminator 2. He said shout him out too.
Yeah, what up, Terminator? But you and I talked about this so much. My original plan was try to be like, Ghostface Killer of writers and write under my 2 middle names. And it's like, the J Electronica review 2 years ago changed, the trajectory of everything for me, for you, for According to Hip Hop, thankful.
Yeah.
But let's get it, No,
man, I love it, man. And we're going to continue to keep going. We got so much to talk about every week. We never run out of content.
Yeah, we're full. I mean, like you and I were talking late last night, and we were like, dang, we got to stop right here because we don't even know if we're going to get to cover all of this.
Speaking of Terminator 2, and maybe we'll just jump right into it because there's some albums that we haven't covered, and we kind of tried to clean that up a little bit on Wednesday, but we still didn't get to some of the albums that we haven't covered. We have yet to talk about this Slaughterhouse album. You want to start with the Slaughterhouse thing?
I usually like high notes, but run it.
All right, listen. The Slaughterhouse album, what was that released on? March 11th? And I don't like dating our shows too much, but, it's the 17th, and we're just not really getting to it. The name of the album was I listened to it all day today.
Oh, it was Death of Slaughterhouse.
It's The Rise and Fall of Slaughterhouse.
Synonyms.
The Rise and Fall of Slaughterhouse. I'm going to say this, man. I appreciate everybody in the room saying congratulations, happy anniversary, and all that. We really appreciate that. First of all, let me go down the line. We're going to talk about Slaughterhouse. We're going to talk about this Elzhi album that we didn't get to talk about or speak to. We're going to try to preview a little bit of this Pusha T album that's coming next week. We're going to talk about this RZA and DJ Scratch. We're also going to double back and kind of give a recap of that whole, Kanye documentary. We don't need to get too into that, but, it's just a lot going on with Kanye in the news right now. And we're going to talk about this lawsuit with Dame Dash and Jay-Z and how the narrative is kind of going and how Dame Dash has spoke out against certain narratives and said, no, it's not going like this. But I think that we owe it to our listeners to kind of break down this situation and see both sides of it because the media seems to be a little bit one-sided when it comes to these situations. But, first off, The Rise and Fall of Slaughterhouse.
Yes.
Okay.
You want me to go or you want to go?
I want to start off quoting Chris Rock.
Okay, there we go.
And we talked about this earlier, man. Chris Rock has always said in hip-hop, and I think how about you say it? Because you spoke to it perfectly.
Right. Well, Chris Rock, has this joke, and it's really not that funny when you think about it. It's not that funny. Like, Chris Rock's best jokes aren't funny at all, actually. And that's why you're laughing, because it's either that or cry. But he says a rapper's first album is about their whole life up to that point. Their second album is about everything that happened to them since they've gotten money and fame and life has changed. The third album is pretty much just them reminiscing from there on out about everything that happened.
What they used to do. What they...
Number two. Yeah.
Yeah, what we created, what we used to do, how things used to go. Listen,
look what I did. Look what I did.
Look what I did. Listen, it gets no more, and I'm trying to fix my words here to be respectful of the artist, because I know everybody digs deep for their art, and it gets personal, right?
Always.
But I think that this album, it reeks bitterness, even though they even addressed that in one of the songs. What song was that? The third song, we said the title of that song is Ain't Nobody Mad. But the irony of this is the whole album sounds extremely mad. And it gets no more reminiscent than this. All right, so Slaughterhouse used to be a 4-man team, MC team. Mm-hmm. Now it's a 2-man team with Crooked and Ortiz. And there's a lot of options when it comes to a group disbanding, especially a group that wasn't even a group that came in the gate together. This isn't like Wu-Tang or something like that where, we know all the individuals from this specific brand. They were all solo artists that came together at separate times, well, at the same time rather, but they came in the game at separate times, and they came together on some Voltron stuff to take on, a task. They did that, and that group is no more, and there are 2 members that are left, and every single song, with the exception of the Look Mama, and I want to say...
It's like 2 or 3.
Smoke. It's like 3 songs that aren't about the breakup.
Yeah.
Do you want to start? Because I got a lot to say. I know you got a lot of notes, and we probably got some of the similar stuff.
Well, I like to try to start on a positive and on a high note, so I want to say that on this album, Crooked Eye sounds great.
He does. Ortiz sounds great too.
Ortiz sounds dope too, but I mean, Crooked sounds great. Like he's a great MC, and I think unfortunately he does fall into that category of like one of those guys. And when it comes to just like rapping bar for bar, I mean, you can put him almost next to anybody, which is why you really like want to root for him to like thrive as a solo artist. You know what I mean? Because
right.
Like, as far as skill is concerned, that the skill is not a question and never really has been. So that sounds great. I'm like you. I mean, especially for me. Well, I mean, I'm going to go to something I said to you behind the scenes, which is like it seemed to me on this album, when it came to Joe Budden, they were Mike Tyson. When it came to Royce, they were Floyd Mayweather in terms of their approach. And so some of it does come off very like sour grapes, because if you look at it, I mean, of the 4, Budden and Royce have had more, I would say, notable careers. Budden may be more so on the personality side of things. Royce, straight up and down as an MC, has had more success than all 3 of them. Okay? If we're just talking about on some rap, level stuff, Royce is...
I think overall, Royce is probably the best MC of the 4.
If we're talking
I think
about
straight bar for bar, I'm going Crooked.
Yeah, bar for bar, probably Crooked. Overall, Royce. And so that's not any misnomer or misgiving that Royce would probably have the best career of the 4. But I think truly like Joe Budden's success and crossover appeal with the podcast and also on reality TV did affect this group. And this is where it shows. It just doesn't show in a good light on either sides, in my opinion. I mean, it comes off sour grapes the way they're kicking it, but it's also like, too, did you really go Hollywood?
It's a lot of interesting things there, man. One of the things that is interesting is the fact that they bring up Eminem's name a few different times. And you said something very potent when you said when they were talking about Joe Budden, it was Mike Tyson, but when it was, Royce, it was a little bit more Mayweather. Whereas when we talk about when Eminem's name was brought up, it was kind of like, yo, he's good. We're good. Right. They even on one of the tracks, I think it was the second track, they even spoke on, or Ortiz even spoke on the fact that what Joe Budden said about Eminem's album on his podcast affected the group negatively. Shout out to Jason with the super chat. We got a $19 super chat here. He said, "Happy anniversary, fellas. Keep holding these artists accountable. By far the best hip-hop podcast out." We really, really appreciate that. Good looking. Okay, so this is my thing. This is the point I was getting to when it came to what Ortiz said about Joe Budden basically reviewing Eminem's album negatively on his podcast, affecting the group. But then you got Crooked Out in the next song saying Eminem didn't form the group, so he can't break up the group or something along those lines. Listen, Joe Budden did his job as a podcaster and told the truth about Eminem's Revival album. That's first of all.
In his opinion. Yeah, it was
his opinion. Right. His truth.
It's his podcast. It's his review.
It's his podcast. This is what listeners should want. Artists or people who are in the media, not out here kissing ass for their individual come-ups. Are y'all really mad at Joe Budden for going out there? And I remember when he said what he said about Revival, he was actually nice about it. It was really Charlemagne that was going hard.
I remember when you hit me with it, it was like, yo, I don't even think he's going in on it like
he's
that.
Not.
I think he's just being honest. And I was like, I think you're right. I was like, and I'm like, here's the thing. It's like, well, Joe can rap. So,
I'm just saying, like, even as a podcaster, though, this is the thing. Let's keep it real, guys, because none of those guys, Ortiz, Royce, or whoever, everybody that was getting on Joe for speaking his opinion about Revival, none of them said Revival was hot. You know what I'm saying? So, y'all mad at this man because he didn't say that Eminem's album was good. When asked, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's his job to talk about these things. How are y'all mad about that? Don't be mad about that. First of all, that's crazy to me. And then he was labeled as being disloyal. And so the other side of that coin, Coop, is, okay, he did that. You guys have done nothing but sing Eminem's praises. Where's that gotten you?
Well, no, see, this is what I mean is that, like, it financially probably at a certain point didn't behoove Royce or Joe to be as involved or to want to be as involved. And when the response changes, the love is going to change. But you also, on the other side, have to understand why the love's changing. Because it's like, it's a job. And at a job, your hope is to maximize your earning potential. And so you can't be mad when people within the camp are maximizing their earning potential. You have to be doing the things that are maximizing your earning potential. And it's kind of funny because Ortiz starts off the album talking about all the other things he has going on investment-wise, and that he's good. It just doesn't come off attitude-wise from the tone of the album like he's good. Like overall. It's not like he's saying, like, F them and what they got. It feels that way, though.
Cold Blooded says something I want to address. He said, "Mike, if you had a bad opinion about Coop / you being friends with him, would you talk trash about his work publicly, or would you talk to him in person?" We're talking about music, man. Like, you know what I'm saying? That's the thing. And I think that people, first of all, we don't know what people's personal relationships are when it comes to Eminem and Joe Budden. I mean, like, do y'all really think Eminem and Joe Budden are super close, right? These are people who are just public figures. Now, if one person had a podcast and another person is putting the album out, do we expect, even if that person had been signed to that person before, we expect that person to not tell the truth about, or, his opinion, his honest opinion about the effort? This is what we talk about when we talk about people having yes men, right? When it
Right.
comes to Kanye, he goes out there, does whatever. Everybody has to say, "Oh, well, you don't have any people that's gonna sit here and tell you the truth." But for whatever reason, with Eminem, we can't tell him the truth about his music. Y'all know the revival was trash. Let's keep it a buck. The man's first single was with Beyonce, and y'all don't even know the name of that song. Eminem and Beyonce, two of the biggest stars ever, got on a record together, and they did nothing. But that's neither here nor there. Neither here nor there. But yeah, I found that interesting that they found different ways on each songs to drag Joe Budden. And
No, there appears to be some sort of focal point about it. So it appears to be like, when amongst men, respect is something that is like very, very subjective, and they might see, because Joe moves in certain circles now, Mike, and operates in a certain way, what he may deem a level of respect in business may not be different. And so they may not have liked the way that he was handling his business, but it might have been the way that he handles business now. And, and that's why I'm saying it's like, well, if the way he handled business now is increasing his earning potentials as a man, you really can't fault the next man for that. You need to be doing what you can be doing to increase your earnings potential. And I also want to say something too. It's like, and this was my takeaway from it too, is that like, well, I like all these guys individually as MCs, most notably Royce, probably, and as a lyricist, Crooked. But I never knew of them to be as big a deal the way that they're making it out to be on this album either.
Greatest group ever, I think Ortiz said in one of the songs. Mr. Pragmatic with the super chat. Appreciate you with the 1999. He said, just discovered this show after Nas's Magic release. What a hidden jewel y'all have here. Peace, brother. Appreciate that. Appreciate that. All right. To piggyback on what you said, yes, I agree with you. And maybe because I know a lot of the material from the individuals before they collectively got together, mm-hmm. I like the concept of someone like a Slaughterhouse getting together with all of those super MCs, kind of like the Four Horsemen with Cannabis, Corrupt, Raz Kaz, and Killer Priest did, in theory. But, song for song, I like them more individually. Now, that kind of goes to something else I was thinking about. Even in today's time when it comes to music, in hip-hop currently, like the current scope of hip-hop, we don't have the kind of formats now where people are making songs with 4 verses. So being 2 members, if it were Ortiz and Crooked, and really going at that and going at it hard and maybe teaming up with a producer to do the whole joint, I think that will fly. I don't even think they had to dwell on any of this because they're so dope as MCs. I really wish we could have heard them do like maybe one song about this and the rest of it just do an album,
Right, and because for me, and this is where I bring that up about the Sour Grapes part, it's like I don't like how many times Ortiz makes the reference to him being signed by Dre. It's like, nah, fam, like we know who you are. Like you don't even gotta like do that because somebody checking this project out already knows that. You know what I'm saying? So when he keeps on stating it over and over again, it's like goes back to that
reminiscent shit.
That reminiscent thing. And it's like, no, fam, like we already know that you can rhyme. This is not about if you can rhyme. It's not about that. You know what I'm saying? It's like, but are you making a quality project with Crook? Like, how are the hooks? How is the beat selection?
I didn't like, you know what? That was another thing. The beat selection was okay. But I didn't like the hooks.
I didn't like the hooks at all. So this is my problem when 4-man tandems of this caliber or 2-man and team up like this. Because immediately my thought before I listened to the album was like, well, who's going to be singing some of the hooks for me? Because that's what I felt like this album was going to need to feel more well-rounded with some hook game. And I don't even mean singing the hooks like you got to go get a singer. I mean, like, go get Stove.
This is the thing, man. And we talk about groups giving closure and all that stuff all the time, or at least I do. Outkast specifically. And I think Crooked said something on the record where he was like, I don't want to tweet about it. I'd rather rap about it. And,
I like that.
Or something like that. But, in theory, that sounds good. But when you got to hear a whole album about it, I would rather hear a Twitter rant.
You want to know it? That's one of those things that fundamentally sounds more sound than the actual play out of it. Because when you're saying that, you're thinking, oh, we're just addressing that on record once, not over the duration of a full length play. Correct.
It was a tough listen, man. Especially I got to like song 4, and I'm like, is every song gonna be about Joe Budden?
No, I listened to everything.
I listened to everything too.
Yeah, I mean, I listened to everything, and I listened to it through. But my sentiments are much like yours about it. And here's another thing: if they're talking about the missed opportunity of the 4 of them, well, there's another missed opportunity with the 2 of them, in my humble estimation.
Exactly, I agree with that 100%. But see, the thing is, man, and like I said in the previous show before I even heard the album, Joe Budden's retired from rap. So what do y'all want him to do exactly? I mean, it's not like he's out here putting out his own solo records and won't make a record with y'all, like Andre does with Big Boy. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not like he's giving verses to Frank Ocean and not giving verses to Big Boy. He's just retired altogether. So it's like, what exactly do y'all want from him? It's not like he's out here giving features or something and won't mess with y'all.
No, and I mean, and you have to understand something too. It's just like, well, what does that say? If Budden, of the 4 of them, I would say in terms of career, he'd probably be second behind Royce. But what does it say that he's willing to retire about his media career from rap? That's saying that, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's what I mean about, like, they may misplace, like, the weight of what the group meant. Not them as individual MCs, because to be honest, I feel like their weight is heavier as individual MCs.
I think the best song on the album is the one where they're not talking about any of this. I think the song "Look Mama" is the best song on here.
I mean, I can see why you feel that way. It's kind of hard to maneuver through some of the songs too, because the rhetoric is the same, just approached from a different angle.
Yeah, it is, and you hear different stories. And again, I don't want to be disrespectful, grown men in their situation, but it comes across as gossip after a while. Like, if you say if you talk about the same thing over and over in different ways, it's no way that it's not going to turn into gossip. You know what I'm saying?
Now, I will say this, like, Crooked was more taking jabs and then going on what I would like to call rap gymnastic displays. You know what I'm saying?
He was.
Like, he was talking a little something, and then he would just start killing the mic. So the album's not all bad. Like, his mic performances for me, and that's not to say Ortiz were bad. It's just, I think Crooked's special when he gets in that zone. He's in a nice pocket as an MC on this album, and so that's the highlight of it. But it just makes you want the subject matter to be different even more.
I don't love the approach that Ortiz took on a lot of them. Again, it comes across as he comes across as bitter. And I say that respectfully, just based on what I'm hearing. Like, he might not be, but he comes across as that on the record in ways, like you said, Crooked really doesn't. Crooked's like, fuck it. This is what we're talking about and whatever. But I think that all of this kind of speaks to their lack of chemistry together. I feel like, let's just say if for whatever reason Wu-Tang broke up and Ray and Ghost had to make an album together, they're just going to make that album together.
Period.
You know what I'm saying? And I think that when you look back at, what Slaughterhouse was able to do, it just comes across that Ortiz and Crooked I don't have the chemistry that, let's just say, if Royce and Crooked I made this.
That I didn't really explore that possibility. That's a possibility too. But, so let's go to the Wu-Tang thing for a minute. This is what I mean about groups like this. It's like, well, when you have like a bunch of super lyricists, you need even more super lyricists. Like, you can't just have like 4 at that point. You need to actually have, like, that's what Wu-Tang showed us. It's like, man, it's actually better when you have more and you can spread them out over tracks. So it's like I kind of got to pick and choose and figure them out a little bit more. When it's like 3 or 4 now and it's like lyricists, it's hard. And this is what I mean. Wu-Tang really, really worked because Method Man and Old Dirty Bastard were stars.
Well, that's true.
Star power.
Now that's for sure. Raekwon too, to a certain extent,
and Ray to a certain degree too. So it's like you had guys with platinum selling power within Wu-Tang who happen to be great lyricists and MCs as well.
How would you rate the production? Just give it a grade.
I mean, on a scale of what?
No, I'm giving it a grade. A, B, C, D, F.
I would probably give the production a C.
Okay.
Just like flat. I would say the production was average. It was solid.
I think it had its moments.
Yeah, there were some moments on there, but that's what I mean. I mean, this is a compliment or complimentary to them. They are the caliber of MCs that when they get the rhyming and getting it off, sometimes you can get lost behind the beat a little bit because they're dope. They're dope MCs. Dope MCs do that to you, and it make you go back and be like, hold on, how that beat sound?
LP says Joel doesn't have star power.
No, I mean that's what I'm saying. So Royce is probably the one with the most star power to me, and it's like I just bought a Wu-Tang plan. I said Method Man, old dirty bastard, Raekwon and shit. You know what I mean?
I think Joe has the most star power.
No, I think you're just saying that because of the podcast. Because it's like, to be honest with you, Def Jam tried to make him a big star, and that's when we found out he had mental health issues.
Joe has personality, and you know what? And I think it can't be. I would be remiss to not note that Joe is a pioneer in this podcast game. When you talk about MCs or any artist crossing over to the podcast game, he made that world. Like, he created that world for a lot of MCs to go out there and do what they're doing. Like what Gilly and them are doing. All of us, we weren't notable MCs, but MCs who were notable on that stage and were able to cross over and do their own podcast, they stand on the shoulders of Joe. And we got to give him that credit for that.
I don't disagree with anything you just said.
And again, I think that
pretty accurate. Yeah.
My thing is, it seems like the only thing, I don't know. I mean, from what I got from this album, the only thing they're mad at Joe about really is the fact that he's not rapping with them. I mean, you can't just be like, look, yo, you got another career going on. That's what's up. Do your thing.
And also, too, how old is Joe?
He's 40-something, right?
Is he? I mean, that's what I'm saying, because I feel like Budden's a little older than me, so I feel like he's in his early 40s.
Yeah, he's in his early 40s.
Right. I mean,
Joe got the biggest hit of all of them, right? Pump, 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 pump it up.
Pump It Up is probably the biggest hit, yeah.
I think that Royce is just the most talented MC. And again, it's showing that even when all of this was going on, Royce made the Book of Ryan, the allegory. He's fine. Like, he's out here just doing his thing.
You want to know what? They referenced his Grammy nomination.
They did.
You know, there's reference to not being on the Book of Ryan, I believe. But I think that's the thing about it. That's what Royce is kind of saying. Royce is kind of like, I'm nice anyway. Like, you want to toss this bag. Like, I'm nice in the group, nice as solo MC. I'm nice next to M. And that's what I mean is like, I can actually hear on this album how Royce has kept relationships with so many different people. Because even when talking about the Lupe thing, I'm thinking, man, like, Royce got relationships all over the place. It's like he got relationships with dudes. Think about it. He was on some of Griselda stuff. Griselda's all over the allegory. You know what I mean? So it's like, man, he keeps up with the old school guys, the new school guys. He keeps a relationship with Shady.
I think Royce is the best overall MC in Detroit, in my opinion.
I've always said that. I've always been of that frame of mind. Since I've heard Boom, I was like, ooh, like that guy.
You know what? The song really got me for Royce back in the day. It was The King of Kings. You remember that song? Anybody who hadn't heard that song, go look that up on YouTube. King of Kings.
I'd have to go back.
It was like, it had this hook where it's like, I wake up and I don't know where I am. It's like he's talking about being formed as Christ or whatever. But anyway, when I heard that back in the day, this was like 2000. I was like, yo, this dude is crazy with it. I was like, M's nice, but yeah, he's something else. And this was before Boom slightly. I'm sure people in the chat have heard it. LP says Elzai is better than Royce in my opinion. This is what I will say, and I think this is a decent transition. We were just about to talk about Elzai's album. Elzai is the best lyricist that I've ever heard from Detroit.
Right.
Pure lyricist.
Yeah.
And I know you like proof. I'm gonna pull up a proof, some proof, and not proof from D12. Rest in peace.
I'll say because we're having Detroit.
No pun intended.
Right.
But I wanted to pull up an Elzai verse. You mind if I read it real quick? I'm going to put it on the screen for the people. I had to bring proof.
Ed. Sounds fascinating.
This is verse 1 from Deep for the people who really rock with Elzai. It's like, I'm the bell ringer, shell slinger, hiding bodies to the smell linger, until your pale as Renee Zellweger. when L sting you. You feeling like the Braille finger, searching for the line. I'm first, you stuck in last. Rappers now sucking ass. Full of new school niggas I wouldn't fucking pass. They should flunk in class and dip low. They tiptoe and eavesdrop with both sleeves propped. Now please stop. Y'all melting faster than a freeze pop at 100 degrees. El Sun and MCs, he's pops. What? You better put that work in. I burp grins and kill grills, my steel pills, then I peel wheels and skill feels it heals like heals ills like Benadryl's pills. Your hottest artist will feel chills when I drop gems that play out like fans when you peep. These rhymes ain't cheap. Oh yeah, I get deep. Best lyricist I've ever heard from Detroit. One of the best lyricists I've ever heard, period. I mean, we want to talk about syllables and all that stuff. And I mean, the whole Benadryl's thing, that's at 100 degrees, El Sun and MCs, he's pops. You better put that work in. I murk grins and kill grills. My steel pills, then I peel wheels, then skill feels like it heals ills like Benadryl's pills. Your hottest artists will feel chills. Yo.
Nice little bob and weave. It's nice bob and weave. It's excellent.
It's crazy, man. Like, I mean, you know, it sounds better than Rap God to me. You know, that shimalama lama 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 out.
I'm not touching it. Is this our transition into Elzai's album?
Yes. What did you think of Elzai's album?
I thought it was really dope. It was enjoyable.
I thought it was dope too, man. I mean, I love these projects that he puts together. What was the one that he put together a couple of years ago?
I love this one way more than the last couple that you fed me.
The one I'm thinking about, I know the people in the room are thinking, it was a duo situation. Anyway, I like the production of this. I think it's very creative. It's a cool listen, man. It's
a nice, smooth listen. It really is.
It got some quotables in there too. Elzai's one of them MCs that he does things on the mic that I didn't think were possible. You know,
7 times down, 8 times up. Is that what you're talking about?
Nah, not that one. That one was dope too. Someone says Elzai got Conway. Dag, I missed the chat. Said Elzai got Conway on that song 212. Elzai be getting people on records, man.
I mean, Elzai's nice. I mean, I think, how about this? He falls into that category of like, you know, your super lyrical miracle type of guys that are traditionally thought of as not good song makers. But he's a really dope song maker.
He is.
And a top-notch lyricist, a la like maybe a Styles or a Skyzoo. Like, you know what I mean? Like somebody who's really top-notch lyrically. But like can make a dope record. He just may not necessarily be a big star. You know what I mean? But he's nice.
Right. I think that when you talk about people who might not have that quote-unquote star power, I think he kind of hits that top of that barometer for just straight-up lyricists. Like how we were just talking about Ortiz or whatnot. Like Elzai is one of those people, and maybe because I'm like a hip-hop nerd, I'll sit there and listen to. Whereas maybe the common fan wouldn't. And I only say that because when he got put in Slum Village, that was the mission. They had to make hit songs. And even though, you remember the Kanye song with John Legend, Selfish? Mm-hmm. He doesn't have a memorable verse on there in the way that Kanye does. But obviously he's a super lyricist. You know what I'm saying?
No, all those things. And I actually had a thought today, and I was like, well, is Elzai right now officially like the best top-notch lyricist that the mainstream really doesn't know about still? Because I think
it's been that way for a minute.
I don't know if it's been that way for a minute, but this project made me definitely feel that way. It's like, well, hold on. It's like everybody else that I can look at lyrically like him, I think is known or renowned for that at this point. And so I guess my question would be is what does he need to do to get on a legacy type of vibe? What does he need to do to get more renowned? Does that make sense?
No, I see what you're saying, because in ways that we used to talk about people like AZ or whatnot, which I don't think is true for AZ anymore, is actually true for somebody like a Elzai.
Right. No,
I think what needs to happen, there needs to be an Alfredo moment. I do like this is the album I was talking about, the Jericho Jackson.
Okay,
that shit was crazy.
No, okay, yeah.
But yeah, there needs to be an Alfredo moment. And even though I think that his Illmatic was dope as hell, I think he kind of shot himself in the foot with the Nas comparisons, because I don't think the Nas comparisons were even there before he did that.
They're not there, and it's not something that you want to pat on yourself and try to hold yourself up against. You know, so
he did a great job. Great job. But it's Illmatic, you know. I like the way they reworked the instrumentals and stuff too. Like they bumped up the production with some live instrumentation.
Nobody asked him to do all that.
Yeah, he killed it though.
And nobody asked him to do all
that. That's the thing. He killed it. He needs a Run the Jewels Alfredo moment.
No, okay. So even when you say an Alfredo moment, this is what I mean about like, well, maybe what to expect next. Because before Freddie made Alfredo, he does have those couple. He has Bandana.
Mm-hmm.
And what's the one right before Bandana?
Shit. It's like, what is it in the chat, guys? It starts with a P.
Right.
But yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Not the one where he wearing the suit. Is that the one with him with the suit on?
No, not Freddie.
Not Freddie. Right.
No, it starts with a P.
Pinata.
Pinata, right. Yeah.
Pinata and Bandana. So it's like, no, you could see it coming.
No, you could.
You seen it coming.
Listen, man, and I know that we keep talking about this guy, and I got some good information about this too. Shout out to my mans out there. Hold on one second. I'm losing my train of thought. I think the Alchemist and Elzai should hook up. But I was thinking of a couple things at one time because my man Alex, shout out to him, he hit me and was like, I listened to y'all last episode and you were asking if Alchemist has a what did I say, a sweatshop down there. And he sent me the link to one of the guys that Alchemist, trades records with, and and he does have people that, feed him records and stuff.
I mean, I'm sure he has somebody feeding him, but who's cooking?
No, that's real.
That's what I'm saying. It's like, no. Are you putting in a grocery list order and then they're bringing you back the goods and you're cooking the food, right?
No. I believe he's cooking the food. I'm not going to, put any of those accusations on there until I saw it.
That's being the head chef on the line and telling your sous chefs in your line cooks what to do. That's two different worlds.
Okay. I know we put a lot on Alchemist's back, but yes, I would like to see Alchemist and Elzai hook up. I think it would be great. I think Elzai is a really dope songwriter.
You want to know what? I want an all-time great, like, because of the Alchemist RZA conversation that we had. And I didn't mean to come off any sort of way to Alchemist or to slight Alchemist. It's just like really more props to RZA for that run and that catalog run right quick. But it makes me wonder and want Alchemist to do a project with, like, I don't know, let's say a Raekwon or a Method Man who are still out here rapping.
Yeah, but again, RZA got them in their prime.
I mean, did you just hear Method Man this year?
Oh yeah, he sounds great. Blue Collar Hustle says Illmatic legit is the best tribute album ever. I can't argue against that. It's great.
Once again, didn't nobody ask them to do all that.
It's great. So as a Nas fan, you didn't like it?
It was just, I don't know.
I loved it.
I just wanted somebody to be more, this may seem funny, it's just like be a little bit more legendary in your own right before you touch something like that. Because I'm funny about stuff like that. Because that's a culture move too,
It's kind of like...
great, and he's stupid nice. He's stupid. Yeah. So
it's what I could compare it to? Respectfully, Jennifer Hudson. And it's one of those things where you have the incredible voice, but your voice has now been attached to other people's work. You need your own that has hit people in that way. And I think that's probably how you feel about the Illmatic situation, where it's like, these are some iconic records that hit all of us in a big way, including him, I'm sure. But before you do that, you might want to do some that kind of hit people in that way first. You know what I mean?
How about this? Do you remember when TLC remade "If I Was Your Girlfriend" by Prince?
I remember that. Crazy, Sexy, Cool.
Right. I really loved that record, but it was still right, but not the way that I should, because a female taking that record from Prince, a female group taking that record from Prince, it loses some of its nuance and some of its genius in that happening, even though the record is dope and they kind of reworked and cooked up and gave it a heavy bass line and made it snap and like all that, but it didn't like land all the way, even though it's a dope remake. You know what I mean?
I think remakes in hip hop period are problematic. Which is interesting because, you know, this is a culture genre wise as far as like sonically that is built on samples.
Right.
But whenever hip hop uses other hip hop records, it's kind of, even when I hear like Moneybagg Yo using DMX's How's It Going Down, it's like, because the thing used to be, you don't really use the same loop that somebody else already used. You know what I mean?
That used to be part of the race.
Yeah.
Who could find the best loops from the best records and go really digging in the crates the most.
Exactly.
But what I would submit to you is part of the innovation of MCing being so important is because it balances out the other side of these music wise of our culture that was built off sampling and taking for something. That's why the innovation of rhymes and MCing is so important. It brings balance to a culture where the beats are often sampled and taken, and reworked and reused and chopped and screwed and mixed and mastered.
Back in the day when I was an MC, I always wanted to do a mixtape that just took all the beats from Supreme Clientele and just do it over. But, you know, I don't know how well that would go. It's different to do that than just rework.
Like once and I'm funny too. Once I love a record, Mike, I'm cool with just hearing that whoever did that record on that record forever. Like I'm one of those people that's okay.
You don't like Rick Ross redoing "You're Nobody Till Somebody Kills You"?
I told you how I feel about that.
And he did a great job on it.
I'm sure he did.
I didn't want to like it, but I do.
With my Sycamore style.
More sicker than yours.
4/4 and 54. No, you just no. No. Who was that right?
You know what? I feel you, man, because I wouldn't want to hear somebody redo Ice Cream and like Dave East is on the hook or something.
Right.
We sound real old right now.
I mean, I don't care. Get off my lawn.
All right. On that note, man, what did you think about the RZA and DJ Scratch album?
Get them off my lawn. I'm not that old. I didn't want to hear this like that.
I thought the production was good. I would give the production a B.
Did you?
I thought the production was good. I thought the rapping was where it lacked, personally.
I mean, I would agree with you. The beats are better than the rhymes. I don't know if that changes any of the problematic nature about what is this doing again?
I don't know, man. But see, these are the reasons why.
Because I can see there's supposed to be some sort of theme. Do I need to listen again to catch the theme? Am I being funny?
This is the reason why I said what I said the other day about The Alchemist. Shout out to Ray Rims. He said that's a super chat for Wednesday's broadcast. High level content. Yeah, we just kind of breezed through Wednesday, man. I thought we didn't have enough. But that was a good conversation we had with Tribe and Cass. All right. I think that when it comes to what Alchemist has been able to do, that's why I even had it in question, because when RZA's teaming up with Scratch, RZA's not producing this stuff, right? I mean, am I wrong, y'all? Did RZA do the beats on there? And then I start thinking about the group when him and Prince Paul were in a group together. Prince Paul
made most of the beats for Grave Diggers.
Yeah, Prince Paul was the Grave Diggers producer.
Those are some dope beats.
Prince Paul is a dope ass producer. In my opinion, I say to this day, the most underrated producer in hip hop history.
No, I will agree with you on that, because we skip him too much when we're having our all-time great producer talks and conversation, and he belongs. So.
Oh yeah. I think that Prince Paul kind of suffers from what Pete Rock did. He didn't spread himself around enough in a certain era.
Pete Rock's a better beat maker, but Prince Paul's more innovative.
I was listening to College Dropout, and we're going to talk about that when we talk about this Kanye documentary we're going to double back to. And thinking about the skits that were on College Dropout and Late Registration and how funny they were, those shits is so Prince Paul. And I guess I didn't think about it until we saw the footage of them putting them together. And it was like, yo, that's very De La Soul-esque.
You mean Late Registration skits, right?
That and College Dropout. Even the College Dropout parts where he was talking about, you know, his degrees and sleeping with, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, I thought Late Registration did more of the better Prince Paul impersonation than College Dropout to me. Like, broke, broke.
Yeah.
You got it, right? Like all that, I was like, yeah, that's straight Daylight Jacket right there.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, shout out to Ray Rims. He said, did you brothers read my last Cash App? Oh, yeah, we got to go check that about Rock Marcy and Backwoods Sweetie. Yeah, I was confused with that because I was looking for the album of Mark Marciano.
Who did what?
Backwoods Sweetie and Rock Marciano.
That dropped today or something?
I think he said it dropped last week. I was looking for it on streaming platforms. I didn't see it. Marquez Davis with a super chat. He says, that Biggie Keep Your Hands High is my favorite Biggie verse ever. That second verse, he went berserk. Don't forget, One More Chance, and my other hits. Yeah, man. That's when you could hear that Biggie was just getting better, and better, man. And you know what? We got the next 10 MCs that we're going to rate next week. Biggie's not even in that lineup, but Tupac is.
More sicker than
How do you feel about that? Should we put Tupac in this lineup? I'm just going to go ahead and announce it real quick. And y'all let us know what y'all think. The next 10 MCs that we're going to put through the rating system, we got Common, Prodigy, Lil Kim, Tupac, Ice Cube, MC Lyte, T.I., Scarface, Jadakiss, and Lauryn Hill.
Wavy.
Again, that's Common, Prodigy, Lil Kim, Tupac, Ice Cube, MC Lyte, T.I., Scarface, Jadakiss, and Lauryn Hill. We're doing that Wednesday. Should we put Biggie in place of any of these people, or you want to just wait on Biggie?
Let's put Biggie somewhere else. We got some other guys to pull from we can put him with. Like, Thought's not on that list, is he?
No, we didn't put Black Thought this week.
Okay, we don't got Kane on the list yet.
I was thinking about Kane. We don't have Kanye on the list yet either. Somebody said that. So we could make that the next ones.
Yeah, we don't got Ross on the list yet.
I'm going to tell y'all this. Kanye West hook game is a 10.
Oh.
Straight up. I was listening to B the other day. I'm listening to The Food, The Corner. I'm listening to his section on Shy City. I'm like, yo, man, Kanye's hook game is a 10.
It's very innovative.
Yeah. Gold digger.
He makes stuff that's not catchy, kind of catchy. It's a great hook writer.
And it's interesting because he's one of the guys who could have easily just used samples as his hooks. He could have easily just, copped it out in that way, kind of like Jay does, where it's like the sample will just be your hook. He doesn't do that.
He's the author of a lot of his own hooks too,
I mean, shit. Yeah, Lucifer. We seen him actually cultivate that with Jay on the Fade to Black DVD.
Absolument. Mm-hmm.
Encore. That's him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, his hook game is a 10. Guess who's back on the block with them hoes? Face my mag mittens and hoe. Don't make me relapse. Back to the block with them. Yeah. Yeah.
From the womb to the tomb.
I'm thinking, man, he might be top 5 in these hooks, man.
I don't know if he's top 5.
All right, who you got? Who's the best hook? I guess it's two different things. Hook writer or hook reciter. I guess they're the same thing, but Method Man just has a better voice than Kanye. But is he a better hook writer than Kanye? I think not. Is he a better hook reciter than Kanye? Yes.
I would want to go get some more information on some of Method Man's hooks before we go to the writer part of the hooks. But it's like I said, once again, as far as like haymaker stuff, it's like even Kanye don't have no cream or no ice cream type of hook. No, he don't.
God showed me the way because the devil trying to break me down.
But yeah, there's somebody still singing that. There's like a chorus involved where people are singing that. That's what I'm saying.
Well, how about this? Speaking of which, we saw in the documentary when
he's responsible for it.
We saw on the documentary when Slow Jams, when Jamie Foxx was in the booth, he was feeding Jamie Foxx. He's like, what do I say next? He's like, she said she wants some Marvin Gaye, some Luther Vandross. Can Method Man do that? Just saying.
Hold on. That's what I'm saying, though. He's in the Wu-Tang Clan. Who's to say that he hasn't done that? Part of the Wu-Tang Clan.
I mean, come on, man. Slow Jams is a special hook.
When are y'all going to understand Wu-Tang is forever, even if I don't like RZA's album?
I'm trying to think, man. Like, I would possibly put Most Def hook game up there, too.
You want to know the reason I said I wanted to explore it more because you said something really strong when you said something about his voice. Because I would infinitely rather hear Method Man or Most Def's voice over a hook than Kanye. Does that make them better hook writers, though?
I think when we think about the actual hook writing process, it's hard to put anybody over Kanye when I think about it.
And also, too, it's like how many other, because then if you want to go into that section of hook writing, it's like, well, how many hooks is Pharrell fed guys? You feel me?
Well, I was thinking the same thing. I was going to say, Kanye's hook writing is on Pharrell level, if not bigger, because he kind of covers more of a vast amount of things.
So then it's like, how many of them Clits hooks are really Pharrell?
No, that's real.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
All I want to do is ride around shining while I can afford plenty ice on my neck so I don't get... That sounds like P to me a little bit, and I don't mean Push.
Yeah, he's a great writer.
It sounds like maybe him and Pusha was vibing, like kind of sing-songing that together, and Pharrell's like, no, freak it like that. All I really want to do is ride around shining. You know what I mean?
Shout out to Charles Carter. He says, Pac is a great MC and very much underrated. For example, do you know Ambitions of a Rider is... Pac did a football scheme? Huh? For example, do you know Ambitions as a Rider, Pac did a football scheme?
Lost what?
Well, if we're talking about the hook's crazy. What would you say Tupac's hook game is like?
No, I would give his hook game probably... Hold on, let me see.
Because... somebody made a good point, because we were talking about how high level it was, but they said, like, first two albums, not so much.
Okay, so here's how I feel about him. He is somebody, like, outside of literally one or two songs on his first album, I think you hear somebody who has promise. The production is not good, and he is not great. The second album, Strictly for My Niggas, is a pretty dope album, in my opinion. And he flashes on there hard, Mike. And this is what I mean, he flashes on there hard. I Get Around and Keep Your Head Up is on Strictly for My Niggas. That's his second album. Last Words with Ice Cube and Ice-T is on that album, too. So he's getting some pull for some other heavyweights from the West Coast to get behind his movement. I think Papa's song is on there, too. So there's some stuff on there. But it's not till... Me Against the World, that the iconic figure. And, that guy emerges on Me Against the World, which is the third album, correct?
Mm-hmm.
That's when he emerges. That's when that guy emerges. But that second album is hitting on something, and two of his biggest and most important singles are right there. And what I mean about him as a hook writer, too, is that, like, he's somewhere in between in terms of, like, doing his hooks and having people sing his hooks. But the hooks that he did are great. And he wrote some of those hooks too, a la Kanye. Like, the original version of How Do You Want It is just him singing. And like Suge told him, we need to go get Casey and JoJo to sing this shit.
I can see that. Terminator 2 says it's a 10 out of 10.
You can hear it at the end. You hear him at the end of How Do You Want It? How does it fit? You can hear Pac at the end harmonizing it because that's the original track.
Yeah?
Yeah, he's harmonizing at the end because he wrote the hook. He really sung it first. So he's a 10 as a hook writer.
You think he's a 10 though? Because this is the thing, and somebody brought up this point, and it made me really think about it. He didn't really become that 10 into the last two albums. Diesel said Pac's hook game is a 7 or 8. Yeah,
But
I mean,
so even with so
because if we think about the first 3 albums, like we're not seeing those. I can't deny it. I'm a straight. Like we're not seeing that through and through, or even the Hail Mary.
oh man, that's Hail
Yeah,
Mary.
I know.
I mean, how y'all gonna give a man that did Ambitions of a Rider and Hail Mary a 7 though? Where y'all at?
Well, I wouldn't say 7. I'm not totally sold on a 7, but I just don't think it's enough of that high level to say 10.
That's one of those things I don't want to dig on it because like So Many Tears is kind of his hook.
Kinda.
You know what I mean? That's what I mean. He has like some sing-songy stuff, and it makes you wonder, how much stuff he actually wrote. But when he is writing hooks, though, Mike, the hooks are a 10. That's what I'm saying. When he writes the hook, it's a 10. He might not have got into it.
Off the top, just kind of go down the line because he got so much material.
I'm trying to go down the line of songs, and that's what I'm trying to say. Like on those first 3 albums, there's not a bunch of him reciting hooks to go off of. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. People in the chat are saying Crazy. They're saying Hail Mary, obviously. Hit 'em up. Me and My Girlfriend. That's a good one.
Right, but most of the hook writing is taking place on All Eyes on Me and on Machiavelli. He's not hook writing like that before then. That's why I'm saying, no, the hooks you're getting are a 10. And that's why I kind of paused for a second because I was trying to think to myself, well, what are those early hooks like? Well, it's like, well, he didn't do a bunch of hooks early, really.
He didn't.
He came from an era, too, and this is what I mean about Pac. Pac is like a linchpin and a middleman. He came from that era where, like, that James Brown idea of still sampling the record to get the record kick-started was still the thing. So you still kick-started the record with using the sample and looping it. There's a lot of that on his first 2 albums. It's how you made a lot of records.
Yeah, it was a style. It's similar to LL. You know what I'm saying? And just that approach. No, where it's like Rock the Bells and then the beat rides or whatever, yeah.
To be specific, it's LL's approach, isn't it, Mike? Like where you take that scratch in that loop and you break it back in and you pretty much make that your hook. And I mean,
that's kind of the Dear Mama style, right?
Right. And I was about to say, and all Pac really did was modernize it and start having people sing over some of the samples, like the Keep Your Head Up sample, Dear Mama sample. You know what I mean? That's kind of how that was pieced together. But when it's time for him to write hooks, Mike, picture me rolling. It's like when I'm hearing Danny Boy singing and Pac's talking in the background, it's like Pac's telling him how to harmonize in it. He's like,
see, but again, we can't do that because we don't know that. You know what I'm saying? Like, we don't know that.
It's like you didn't know the How Do You Want story either. That's what I mean. You don't know how many of those stories are out there because he's talented enough as a hook writer and you can see it that all of those things are possible. Like Danny Boy on I Ain't Mad At You.
Out on Bail, that's a good one.
Yeah.
Pour Out a Little Liquor.
Right. He's a dope hook writer when he's writing hooks. Even if it's just a chant, it's Pac because his voice.
I don't know if I can give him a 10 though.
We might have to dock him for the fact that, quite frankly, he didn't really engage in hooks heavily until like the latter stages. So it's like if you wanted to take a point for that, I could see that, but I wouldn't put him less than a 9.
What is Ja Rule's hook game like?
Hail Mary.
What is Ja Rule's hook game like? Is Ja Rule 10? It's 50 Cent a 10.
So you think 50 and Ja are 10, but Pac is a 9?
Yes.
I find that to be very problematic.
And as a hook, with hook game, I think so.
I don't know what to say to you.
I mean, like I said, I just explained the fact that, and again, it's not that Pac couldn't do it. It was just stylistically, like the hooks just weren't as important early in his career. It's kind of like the 3-point line, right? You know what I'm saying? Like, we could say certain people are better 3-point shooters than Michael Jordan at, certain points of his career, but he grew up when the 3-point shot wasn't important. You know what I mean?
Right. But what I'm saying is that has it started becoming more important? As soon as it became important, he was great at it. And this is what I mean. Let's look at something like, what is it? I don't even know the original name of the song. The song when every other city we go.
Yeah. Yep. It's All About You?
It's All About You.
Yeah.
You think he wrote that? Because that sounds like Pac.
He could have written that.
That's what I'm saying. So, so you're telling me that guy's hook game's not a 10, the guy that wrote Ambitions as a Rider, All About You, Me and My Girlfriend, Hail Mary, Crazy. That guy not a 10 as a hook writer, but Ja Rule and 50 are? It's like, no. Right, you get what I'm saying?
Listen, I will say this.
He wrote the hook to How Do You Want It? I'm pretty certain he wrote I Ain't Mad At You. You get what I'm saying? It's like, no, Mike, I don't know.
I don't have a problem giving him a 10 for the hook game, but I don't know, man. I don't know. I think the part that's problematic for me is the fact that it's not enough evidence, using your words, you know.
How about this? If I can find you about how much evidence would you need to feel comfortable with the 10?
Even if we gave him all of All Eyes on Me and Machiavelli, which I'm sure he was instrumental in,
that's better.
We're still missing the first 3.
But that's better than Ja Rule and 50's whole career worth of hook game is what I'm trying to sell you. He made more important hooks between those 3 discs worth of material than they did in their whole careers, and it's better. Like, they don't have nothing for Hail Mary.
I think LP saying what you're saying. He said, Mike, even if Pac started slow, he caught up and passed him. That's like Kanye started fast, but he slowed down in the past 4 albums.
That's some fascinating.
I think that's legit.
No, and there's some legit stuff in there.
And with Pac, at least it was growth, right? You know what I'm saying? And I can't knock somebody for growing. You can turn into a 10 in a 3-point shooting attribute.
No, I don't think that it was as much as him having to adapt to anything. This is what we keep forgetting about him. No, classically trained as an artist, as a writer, performing arts, acting. And so you're talking about that somebody that is a writer by trade. And so asking him to engage in hooks just was something that wasn't going on at the time. Because here's the thing about it. Are you hearing, listen to what I'm saying, are you hearing Ice Cube on a bunch of hooks around that time, Mike? Is Ice Cube singing a bunch of hooks on his big records at the time? Is Bop Gun Ice Cube singing? Is Good Day Ice Cube singing? It's not how the albums were being made from the top artists that he was looking up to. Mike, Illmatic don't got hooks like that.
We be clubbing? Somebody in the chat said something about, what were you going to say? Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was going to say, they said, don't forget about the unreleased stuff, Mike. Pac had like 30 albums. I think that's a good point, too. LP has another super chat. He says, MJ 7 years to win the first ring. Magic's first year. MJ passed him eventually. Yeah?
No, that's correct.
You know, Magic kind of went into a great situation, but that's a whole nother situation. I see what you mean, though.
No, Magic didn't go into a great situation. He made the situation great. That team was losing before he came.
Magic didn't have Kareem?
Kareem won the MVP before, and that team went nowhere.
Okay. He had something to work with.
Yeah, he had the MVP with the team going nowhere.
Right. He got drafted to a team that had the MVP. Antonio says, Tupac, I love the Tupac conversations. We really get people popping with that. Said Tupac is one who got better over time in all aspects. The version of Tupac in 96 was him at his peak. His early material docks him.
That's why I said if you want to dock him for that early material, but what I'm trying to tell you is that other prominent artists around that time, here's another thing. How about this? How many of those hooks are Snoop singing on Doggy Style, Mike? Or on The Chronic? How many of those hooks is Snoop actually doing? Because even Deep Cover, that's back and forth. Yeah, and you don't stop.
You're right. You're right. Because Gin and Juice is not him.
Doggies. I mean, What's My Name?
What's My Name is not him.
Doggy. Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Doggy Dog World. It's a crazy mixed up world. Right. That's how records were getting made.
The Shiznick is just the instrumental, pretty much.
I don't want to count the Shiznit. The Shiznit is the Shiznit.
No, great song.
It's not meant to have a hook. So microphone record. So that's his microphone fiend record.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So he don't need no hook for that. That's cool. But he wasn't doing hooks like that either.
No, that's factual. And you know what?
Rolling in my 6'4".
Why don't you want to give Ja Rule credit for his hooks, though?
No. I'm saying if Ja Rule and 50 are a team, Pac is a clear
They did a lot of hooks, though, man.
Swing down, sweet chariot stop. That's all Snoop say, rolling in my 6'4".
Burn up down.
Right. So it's
Snoop's hook game is not going to be that high.
No, I'm just trying to point out how other prominent artists from the era that are selling a lot of records and are big stars are making these hit records, and they're not doing the hooks either. It's not a thing that was really practiced around the time.
Who really started that then?
I'm trying to think who really made the hook writing the thing. And it's Wu-Tang Clan with the acronyms, Mike. I'm pretty certain it's them with Cream. If you want beef, then bring the ruckus. Wu-Tang Clan ain't nothing. That's when the hook stuff started for me. That's why
what? Prodigy was pretty good at it too. I mean, they shook. There ain't no such things as halfway crooks. They scared to death. They scared to look. One of the greatest hooks of all time. I can't wait to rate Prodigy, man.
Me neither. So excited.
I can't wait to rate Prodigy.
So excited.
So what we ended up doing, let me go to the new one, man. We ended up.
Hold on, did we cover all the albums? We covered all the albums.
Yeah, we covered all the albums. What we ended up doing was we basically, bumped lyrics up to 15 scale, so 1 to 15, and catalog of albums that got bumped up to 15 as well. So Rakim ended up being a 15 in lyrics, and then we got him at 14 with catalog of albums. We got KRS-One 15 in lyrics, catalog of albums 15. Nas 15 in lyrics. Dang, are we being too generous with the lyrics? And the catalog of albums 15. Method Man was 14 in lyrics. I know everybody was disagreeing with that. Catalog of albums was 13. Listen, hold on. Do you still think that catalog of albums for Method Man being 13, is that too high? And should we even be counting Wu-Tang stuff? I guess we got to count Wu-Tang stuff because Andre 3000's on here.
Right.
Yeah.
Did we just talk about the importance of hooks and when hooks became a thing? And we're kind of possibly identifying that might have been the end of 1993 with Enter the Wu-Tang.
Mm-hmm.
There are two main hook men on there. Who are they? It's Old Dirty Bastard and Method Man, The Mystery of Chess Box, and that's them. That's Old Dirty Bastard and Method Man literally on that record. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Method Man, the actual single Method Man, METHOD, man, that was a single.
Yeah. Hey, yo, get off my cloud.
Even Protect Your Neck. Watch your step, kid. Watch your step, kid. Watch your step. They were the guys doing the hooks. Cash rules everything around me.
Imagine Into the 36 Chambers without Method Man.
Imagine it without hooks. Clan in the front. Let your feet stomp. Niggas on the left. Rag shit to death. Clan on the right. Wild for the night. Well, imagine Into the Wu-Tang without those hooks.
No, you're right.
Right.
Wu-Tang Clan ain't nothing to fuck with is iconic. And that wasn't even a single.
So you want to know what's crazy? You want to know what my favorite mixtape moment is of all time? It's actually when Funk Flex drops Prodigy's versus the Shook Ones over the Wu-Tang Clan.
I love that one too.
That's my favorite rap mixtape moment. Because we
shout out to Flex.
Stuff off the realness. It's just, and then it starts creeping in. And, you're like, oh my God. Be like, that is so epic.
Yeah, it's going down. Shout out to Ray Rims for another super chat. He says, Cash App lacks letter length. It's frustrating. Can you both review the Rock Marciano and Blame Kansas? Also wondering if you could listen to the MC Backwoods Sweetie and give your thoughts. They're on YouTube. Ray Rims, can you please email us at info@accordingtohiphop.com with those links and we'll check it out. And we'll definitely talk about that, definitely, because we appreciate all of your participation. Okay. Marquez Davis says, Pun is a 15 in lyrics. Dude was nasty.
So we missed the Blame Kansas project.
Yeah.
February 25th, so we got more work to do.
Yeah, we got a lot of stuff to catch up on, man. I mean, it's good, though. Never run out of content.
How about this? The start of this year has been better than the previous 2 years as far as the start.
This year is starting off fast.
Starting off fast and strong. People ready to come back outside. Well, people who can come back outside.
Jay-Z lyrics 15, catalog of albums that's boosted up to 15. Pusha T lyrics 14, catalog of albums 14. What do y'all think about Pusha T catalog of albums being 14? Right.
So we originally had put down 13, and what I submitted to Mike, I was like, hey, not a lot of guys are walking around with a solo classic album and a group classic album. Guys like Scarface and Ice Cube and Raekwon and Ghostface. Those are the guys walking around like that. And so, you need to start looking at the weight of his legacy a little bit differently because of that. Yeah.
I think what
and he's had features with people like Justin Timberlake too, so that doesn't need to be stated either. And he has been with Ye for a minute. That's not accidental, I
think what Pusha did is different too because he comes from a duo. We just talked about Bun B in his release the other day, and we talked about Big Boy and Andre. It's difficult for people who are in duos to jump out there and be solo acts. I think 8 Ball was the one that was blaring for a lot of people where they felt like 8 Ball was just a star. In my personal opinion, I like both of them. I love both of them, but I'm more of an MJG fan. But it's clear that 8 Ball's a star. He showed us on Mr. Biggs what he can do. But it's so difficult for somebody in a duo to jump out there and be successful as an individual because you're so attached to the hip of that other person. And the fact that Pusha T's been able to do that, high marks.
You know, I was about to give him even higher marks because I was about to submit something to you, and let me piggyback off that thought. And that's an excellent point, Mike. Has there been a member of a duo that is broken off and had the solo career that Pusha T is having?
No, it's not.
Because when you just said that, I just thought about that. It's like, oh yeah, it's only one other guy, and the other guy usually doesn't have a comparable career. Like the guy, think about the other guys we're naming. Those guys left groups as in plural, not a duo.
Yeah, no.
Like Raekwon and Ghostface are part of the biggest rap collective and most important rap collective ever. Scarface, Ghetto Boys, not one other dude. Multiple members.
NWA is
right. So no, you're saying something very strong because I mean, like I love 8 Ball and I love MJG. Their solo material has nothing on Pusha T's solo material. Neither does Buns. Neither does Big Boys. Yeah. Neither does anybody coming out of a duo. Neither does Q-Tips, Mike. I mean, if you even wanted to say
no, that's real.
Right. And
I think Q-Tips showed a lot of promise, but Q-Tips work the way he works. You just can't keep up a solo catalog like that. He works like Dr. Dre does.
Right, and I think Amplified is understated on the production side. Production-wise, he did some brilliant things on Amplified.
Yeah, him and Dilla were just having fun in there. Man Nan said with the super chat, he says Heavy D is super underrated with the hook game, and he's super underrated lyrically because people saw him as a crossover artist. Also, Buns Motrill is good. You know what? I heard somebody say the other day that Biggie kind of took Heavy D's formula to a degree, and I could see somebody feeling that way.
Big and Heavy would tell you that.
Yeah.
Both of them would tell you that.
Marquez says, I love Jay, and he's not a better lyricist than Pun. Let's address that. You don't think Jay-Z's a better lyricist than Big Pun?
I don't either, but
I think we need to define what we feel like a lyricist is.
So this is what I was trying to tell you when I said of all the top tier lyricists, Jay falls at my bottom of my top tier lyricists. He's where my top tier lyricism ends.
Why?
Because so much of what he do this great is attached to his flow and his delivery and the way he puts words together in his conversation on this, not necessarily the lyricism of what he is saying.
I disagree with that. I think Jay is the double entendre king.
No, but what I'm saying, okay, so here's what I mean. Insert Jay-Z on John Blaze. He's not going to walk out with the best verse the way Pun is. No,
I don't know.
No, he's not going to walk away. And guys are saying lyrically that guy has the best verse with Nas and Raekwon and Kiss are in the room. That's not happening.
I always thought Nas had the best verse on that song.
I thought it was arguable until Pun said, even if I stutter, I will still shit on you.
Again, I think a lot of that is delivery.
It's over. No.
That's delivery.
But no. That's what I'm saying. He's right there with him lyrically. Got him on the delivery. Say goodnight. Go look at Jadakiss on Blackout. He's lyrically better than Jay. It's like Jay's been like lyrically. You can catch Jay on record. You can.
I Brooklyn Dodger them. I jack, I rob, I sin. Oh man, I'm Jackie Robinson. Except when I dodge base, I dodge the pin. Luckily, they wouldn't get me. Now when I bring the nets, I'm the black branch. Nah, man, Jay lyrically is something else, man. Fix up. What do you say?
Like I said, of the top-notch lyricist.
Loosen up. Yeah.
Let me say he wasn't a top-notch lyricist. I said he's at the bottom.
Put on the blazer, loosen up my tie, step aside the booth. Superman is alive.
I mean, that's cool. First of all, he hasn't been alive in a long time. Second of all, still at the bottom of my top-notch lyricist.
Mike 100 says Jay gets bodied regularly. I want to address that because we only talk about people getting bodied when it comes to Jay. Marquez Davis says Pun made Nas change his verse. I've never heard that story.
I mean, hold on, because here's the thing. Somebody like Nas go in the studio and will write the verse 3, 4, 5, 6 times too. So when you're saying change it, or well, because this is what I mean about him. He'll be like, hey, do you like that? Is that good enough? You want to know what I just noticed? Like when Hollywood Gangsta plays, he's like, let me try this shit out. I'm like, oh, here he go again with that. Oh, hold on. I hope this rhyme works that I put together right quick. He's still doing that. So like he's somebody that looks at it from that perspective. It's like, no, I'll write it again.
I think this is a perfect time to do this, and I didn't even plan to do this on this show. We got to clearly define what lyricism is, because I think it means something different to everyone. What are we judging people on when it comes to lyrics? What's a lyricist to you? What makes a top-notch lyricist to you? Because I think Tupac is a lyricist, and a lot of people don't view him as that because he doesn't do all the lyrical miracle stuff. But in my personal opinion, I think that even as a crack fiend mama, you always was a black queen mama. He said more in those bars than Eminem said on the whole Rap God song, which has more words than any song we could probably think of.
But I think you're talking about the influence and the impact of the artist and the delivery of it, and not necessarily the words. Like there's power behind it because
it's power behind words.
There's power behind words.
You can't say Jay is bottom top lyricist because his words are powerful. One thing we can say about Jay, his words are powerful. Imaginary play is powerful. You don't know it's powerful.
No,
because it ain't his voice.
No, that's what I'm saying, though. When he gets into his zone lyrically, I find the other guys in the realm of him to lyrically be sharper. Specifically, Rakim, Cool G Rap, Nas, Pun. Like, you see the guys...
Where does Tupac fit in all of this?
Pac is behind Jay as a lyricist, in my opinion. Because I don't look at Pac as some sort of supreme lyricist. That's not where Pac's strength is to me.
I think it is, though, because the lyrics are what people feel. He made people feel things that others didn't. Others that could rap all of these words together, they couldn't make people feel what Tupac was able to make them feel with his words.
But that's because of his subject matter, though, Mike. It's the content of it, too, because other cats weren't being vulnerable like that and approaching subject matter the way that he was.
You have to be a skilled writer to do that, though.
It was the lyrical miracle stuff going on. He's the guy that's like, no, I'm going to make you feel this content. I'm going to make you feel this pain about me growing up as in a single-parent household. I'm going to let you feel this pain, like so many tears, pour out a little liquor. That's his content. Like, if anybody deserves to, like, get rated above and beyond anybody for content, him. That's what you're feeling. You're feeling the depth of his content. And let me say something. Part of why his content and his songs are so strong is attached to how strong and how great and beautiful his voice is too.
All of those things are true. But I think that you have to be a great writer to be able to take on those concepts. Because we've seen great MCs that word for word try to take on deeper content and it just doesn't hit the same. You see what I'm saying?
I mean, based on how we've been rating it, where would I rate, or yes, I would probably rate Pac as a lyricist based on how we're rating it. I would probably put him right next to Meth at 14, but that's what I mean. That wouldn't put him in the A tier.
I don't feel good about docking Tupac points in the lyricism category.
I mean, here's the thing. No, you can't say that. Okay, here's why
he wrote Dear Mama. I can't, you know what I mean?
Okay, so I'm about to contextualize it for you, and you're going to understand this. Well, he made Me and My Girlfriend, and Nas made I Gave You Power. How are those hooks go, Mike? How do the hooks go? All I need in this world is sin. Me and my girlfriend. Nas is explaining.
Look for me.
Right. You're feeling it, Mike, but that's not lyrical like How You Like Me Now. I go blow. It's the shit that moves crowds, making every ghetto foul. I might have took your first child, scarred your life, crippled your style. I gave you power. I made you buck wild. Don't tell me that's the same shit lyrically. I love Pac. That's not the same. And that's why
Nas's hook game might be higher than we think.
I told you, Mike, we need to revisit the whole hook game.
Marquez Davis says, Biggie is my favorite. He said more with less and the most efficient rapper, I believe. But I even admit that Pun is a better lyricist than Big and Jay.
Yes.
What are we rating this on? Like, just how many words he's able to put together? Like, I guess that's the part I don't understand.
Hold on. This is why I keep bringing up, well, what's the standard and how is the standard held? And that's why I keep bringing up Rakim on Follow the Leader and Microphone Fiend and Lyrics of Fury.
Okay.
That's when the state and the art of lyricism became an art form, and it changed and everybody upped the ante. So that's the comparison line for what lyrics are.
Okay.
You want to know what the line for what lyrics are? Go cut on Follow the Leader and listen to the first 3 songs. There you go.
Marilyn says, shout out to them for the super chat. I think it's Melvin. I'm sorry. I misread that. He said, Naughty by Nature hook game was great. Is Tretch in your top MC list? Yeah, we'll definitely rate Tretch. LP says, Nas makes you think. Pac makes you feel.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. But you want to know what? So that's the bar.
Okay. So lyricist bar is Rakim.
The lyricist bar is Rakim on the start of Follow the Leader. Yes.
Okay.
Follow specifically these songs.
Let me go back to these categories real quick because we need to do that. I think that makes things a little bit clearer. We need to make somebody the bar for each, right? So Rakim's the bar for lyrics.
Yes.
Who's the bar for voice?
That would be Method Man or Biggie or Tupac. Pick one. Those 3.
Okay.
Yeah.
Delivery.
Biggie and Tupac and Method Man again.
Storytelling, I would say Slick Rick.
Slick Rick, Nas, Scarface, Ghostface. Yeah.
You know, I would like Nas might need to be the barometer for that. Because Nas took storytelling to a different level.
Right. Do you want to pick one person as the barometer for all these things? Because it's like, if it's lyrics, it's Rakim. If it's storytelling, then we would have to say Nas, because as great as the greatest adventures of Slick Rick is, it's like you said, he's done so many different stories and taken it to so many levels. And there's Rewind and Right.
Yeah. So he's the standard when it comes to that.
If you want to go voice, I would pick Biggie for voice. If you want to go delivery, I'm picking Meth.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Catalog of albums. The standard might be Nas or Jay.
I was about to say, Nas has storytelling, so if you want to go Jay on that one, I'm not going to knock you because Nas already has storytelling.
Okay. Collaborations. Wayne.
Method Man. Again. Oh, we already used Meth. That's what I'm saying. See how important he is?
Yeah, Method Man's important. Wayne?
Yeah, it might be.
Longevity of records.
Is that LL?
I think so.
Yeah, because I think you could still play Jingling Baby and people at the party would start dancing. Don't you feel that way?
I feel that way.
I do feel that way.
I mean, he has so many records that are so notable and recognizable over a span of time.
Right, like you could drop I Need Love at the same party and everybody be like, oh, you know what I mean? Or you could drop Lounging. Like his songs are timeless, man. Longevity of career. You want to know what? I was actually thinking about KRS-One for this one. I think this is KRS.
No, that's definitely KRS.
Yeah.
We can skip the competition for era on that one. Legacy. I think that's Jay again.
No, we got to pick, you know what I'm saying?
Well, the people that got 10s on Legacy are, that we haven't used. Andre? Eminem. Eminem's Legacy is a 10. But it's hard to really even use that as a barometer.
Right. No, I was about to say, peak J, peak Rakim is what I've always told you in terms of like popularity and people actually giving it to him, the masses giving it to him. Those are the 2 peak moments that I saw that I can like identify, I feel like. And so if you wanted to go...
Legacy doesn't really need a barometer. Well, maybe it does because we seem to be on the fence about that category on a lot of it.
Wouldn't it be Nas? Because isn't he changed the way we look at Legacy? Because I had this honest thought. I looked at Big Boy, Rick Ross's, and Bun B's album differently because of what Nas just did. Like, cause Big Boy and Ross's album dropped before it, and I was so pleased with it until Nas dropped Magic. And then I was like,
There's another level.
Right.
Shout out to Rick Raw in the room. He said, Pac wrote Hold Your Head.
Right.
Okay. Okay. So let's just say Nas is that for legacy. Intangibles, I think that's Snoop Dogg, right?
Yeah, Snoop is the measure for intangibles. Him or DMX, wouldn't you say? One of the dogs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hook game. For the people that we have right now, I think DMX might be it.
We can go with DMX.
DMX hook game is crazy. Or Mos Def. Either or.
This is the thing. And see, this is the thing. Neither one of their... Yeah, no, that's fine. We can go with that. I'm cool with that.
Yeah, either or. I mean, because they've been able to... I mean, I would say DMX more because all of his records are him.
Right. That's what I was about to say. His hit records are mostly him singing the hooks.
It is. Like, all of it. Like, Get At Me, Dog. Well, I mean, that was Chic, but he was in it. You know what I'm saying? So, even if we went Get At Me, Dog, Rough Riders anthem. Like, come on. That's a big one. And then you got How's It Going Down with Faith.
Stop Being Greedy.
Stop Being Greedy. You got Slipping.
Ain't
no other cats got love for me. Ain't no cats going for
No, I told you. What's the other one? It wasn't. It was like the hardest joint on there. Ain't no way you're gonna stop my flow.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Crazy. That's my joint on there. Ain't no way. That's my joint on there. Yeah.
If niggas want it, we got it. Come and get it. Play it with it. All you gotta do is say, baby, ride or die. What y'all niggas want?
Right.
You know, I also like bring it. What we right here.
Oh, hold on.
Where the hood at?
The one on the Rough Riders compilation that ends the album.
Oh, you talking about
Yeah, you know what I'm
hard,
talking
man.
about. He's got his hook game crazy.
Yeah, his hook game is crazy.
Because you want to know what? He's so energetic on the mic, and he doesn't lose anything when you get into the hook. It's like, no, he's ramping it up. He's right there. Yeah, I'm cool with him being the guy to represent hooks on the team.
Okay.
He's on 10
cool. He's the barometer for that. Yeah. Versatility.
I think that's a fascinating one.
Would that be Wayne? Look at me trying to give Wayne stuff.
No. It's okay to give Wayne stuff. Because I think we've established at this point that we need to be talking about Wayne in this all-time great conversation and not Drake, right? We've established that, right?
Yeah, I would hope so.
Right. No, we can do that for Wayne. Wayne's super versatile because here's what I mean. It's like he's got that early Cash Money stuff. He's got that early Wayne stuff. Then he's got the prime Wayne stuff. And now he has resurgent Wayne stuff.
Yeah.
And he's been on everybody's stuff in between or gotten everybody on his stuff in between. Think about it. He's rapped with everybody that he looked up to or that was like ahead of him too. Like he's got tracks with Nas, with Jay, with you name it.
Yeah.
You name it. Yeah.
Yeah, he's done it all. Shout out to the L Web 100 with the super chat. He says, in my opinion, DMX has the best singles for an MC. He's in my top 5. DMX singles were massive. And I think the one thing about DMX that was so great was the fact that he didn't have to conform to what was going on at the time to make a hit. Because at that time, you know, Puff Daddy was running the radio when it came to East Coast rap. And things had to be toned down a little bit. Like, he came with the hardcore shit, and it worked. He made those records work. Now, I do think that we may have rated DMX a little bit high because we didn't factor in, like, the totality of the career. I think we kind of were looking at the height more so than, you know, the decline. And I don't know how fair that is because you brought up something that was... Well, really good point when it came to what we put with DMX's voice. We gave his voice a 10, but that voice wasn't a 10 throughout the whole time. So that's unfair to somebody like a Jadakiss who sounds as good right now as he did in 1996, you know?
I mean, him and Nas and Meth, like, sound like they're only about 2 or 3 years older than they did when you first heard them, which is like ridiculous.
Yeah, the way Nas sounds on Magic, yeah, that would be unfair if we.
Sounds like the dude that wrote Illmatic and it was written. Like vocally sounds like that guy. It's like, how did you do that? You were smoking weed on Drink Champs. It's like, how you do that?
He sounds like the I Am Nas on Magic.
You like the I Am Nas vocally. That's your Nas vocalist. That's your favorite.
Nah, I like It Was Written Nas vocally the best. I'm not giving him that on Magic, but I'm giving him I Am.
You want to know what? I feel you because the vocal inflection. How about this? He's still finding his range some on Illmatic as an MC vocally. People don't really hear that because he's so brilliant. Mm-hmm. But he's in his pocket on It Was Written. You're right.
Yeah, man. It's insane.
But here's what I would also submit to you today. It didn't warrant some of those like really, really gritty moments that we love. Like that's what I mean. Like vocally, he's better, but he needed a New York State of Mind type of moment, maybe on It Was Written. Vocally, where you can just hear his throatiness and his intensity about it. You know?
Shout out to Nas the GOAT with the super chat. He said, "I need y'all to put some respect on Lupe Fiasco's storytelling. He's incredible and a top 5 storyteller." Give us some examples of some songs, because I love Lupe.
The coolest, the cool and the coolest nigga. What? The coolest nigga. What?
I think Lupe is a top-notch lyricist that can do anything. I sat here on this show when the whole thing with him and Royce popped off. I said Royce is in trouble.
Hold on.
That's what I said.
This is what I mean when I'm talking about somebody lyrically. It's on like that follow the leader type. There you go. That's why. You see what I'm saying? Because he can do stuff like Mural and Dumb It Down.
Yeah.
Go Gadget Flow and the coolest. And yeah.
AKs and Curtains says, shout out to him with the super chat.
I like that.
He said, Buster for versatility.
Ooh.
Okay.
I'll go with that too. Because it's hard to get Janet and Mariah and to make like smash records with both of them.
I mean, he's done it all.
Still keep your street credit. Still keep all your street credit.
Yeah.
You did that.
And be on Scenario and Flavor in Your Ear.
Right.
Buster used to be like the utility pick where it was like, yo, if we need somebody that can do anything, let's put Buster on him. He was the cleanup guy. They would put him at the end of all of these posse cuts.
So my cousin Six was a Tribe fan. Matter of fact, Mike, People's Instinctive was his joint. Can I sidebar right quick? Can we sidebar right quick?
Sure.
I realized something, and we talked about this behind the scenes. Part of the reason why I love Mona Lisa so much, and I'm just going to tell all the people that were killing me about the whole Bonita Applebum thing. So my 2 cousins who introduced me to hip-hop, one was 8 years older, one was 4 years older. The one that was 8 years older had the boombox. He was the Slick Rick fan. He was 16, 17, so we listened to Slick Rick. Cuz, who was 13 at the time, he had the first Tribe album, which was People's Instinctive. But I didn't get to hear it like that because Cuz didn't have control of the boombox like that. And that's exactly how all of that happened. And that's just how your environment can kind of shape your thought. Because I was really thinking, it's like, damn, am I tripping? And why do I love Mona Lisa so much more than Bonita? And that's why. But I'm also going to speak to this. Well, that's the dude that put me on Cuz from People's Instinctive. Well, he's the one that put me on Leaders of the New School. Put me on the Busta Rhymes. And so when Busta Rhymes doing Flavor in Your Ear remix, I was like, why he sound familiar? Ain't that? He's like, fool, that's the guy. He's like, I told you.
Somebody mentioned Hit 'Em High too. Yeah, Busta was the cleanup guy.
I remember when Cuz told me, he was like, wait till Busta goes solo, Coop. I can remember Cuz telling me that in like '93.
Is Busta the biggest solo act that used to be in a group?
How about this? When he went solo, that was the biggest deal that I had ever seen about somebody going solo. Because I didn't even know Leaders of the New School like that. You feel me?
Yeah.
Right. And actually, and if memory serves, Charlie Brown was technically a more fundamentally sound MC than Busta. But Busta was a star. That whole rah, 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 like he was a star. He had the voice, he had the energy. And what really started happening in that span of time when he started doing those guest appearances, because he was a star, well, he really started crafting himself as an MC. So the dude that's popping up in '94 on that Flavor in Your Ear remix, oh, well, he's not just a star, he's a whole fucking problem as an MC by then. Like a whole problem as an MC. Don't you get suspicious. Graduation every time. Bring it to rhyme. It's like, oh no, that guy who's a star can rap his ass off now. It's on.
Shout out to Kenneth Palmer, man. Kenneth Palmer be giving us all the retweets on Twitter, man. We love it.
Yeah.
He said the vocal skills and the lyrics of Nas on Taken in Blood, the original version, is a monster. Find it on YouTube. I don't think I've heard the original version of Taken in Blood.
Don't nobody.
I haven't heard that. Have you heard that, Cool?
It's OG talk, Mike. Yeah.
I haven't heard that record. I'm going to put that in my notes to go check out.
Hold on. Rakim's the bar, but when you hear, like I said, that stretch run on it was written where he's rapping like he's rapping on Taken in Blood and Silent Murder and the setup, it's like, no, but that's the best lyricist ever.
Oh, no. I think I've said this before. Nas in 1996 is the best lyricist I've ever heard.
Might be the best rapper ever. I just went to that hook on I Gave You Power, and I'm like, damn, was he writing hooks like that in 96 and we missed it? Yeah. Shootout to similar to Wild West, Broad Daylight.
You know, Nas never really beat us over the head with, I'm the greatest, I'm the greatest, I'm the greatest. If he would have done that, it would be no question to the mass public. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I love T.I., and I think T.I. earned his, his claim. Well, he came out the gate, King of the South, King of the South. He buried it, he burned it in people's head to the point where if you say, who's the King of the South, the first thing you're going to say is T.I. because you heard it so much. Nas never really hit us with, like, I'm the greatest MC, I'm the greatest MC, I'm the greatest, yada, yada. If he would have done that, it would have been no question in the minds of most people.
Hold on. Neither did Michael Jordan. That's not what you're supposed to do when you're the best.
No, Michael Jordan just lace him up, man.
Right. So does Nas. That's what I'm saying. When you're actually the best at it, you're supposed to just lace them up and go. You're not supposed to have to remind people. The work's supposed to speak. Mike never said he was the best. Like, remember that quote where he's like, I'm not saying I'm better than Mike, Magic, or Larry. I'm just saying I three-peated. They didn't three-peat, so I did something that they didn't do.
Well, Mike will also say that, I can't say I'm the greatest ever. I never played against certain people who played the game before me. We never had a chance to compete. So I can't say that I'm better than Oscar Robertson.
But here's what I will tell you. This is the first time Nas has ever talked shit on record is on Magic. Like, about him as an MC. Like on 4016, where he's like, I told niggas I'm back outside. It's not a game. Oh, he's never talked like that before.
I think he knows that undoubtedly. I mean, he's always known he's better than Jay, right?
No,
but I think he knows undoubtedly, even on paper now, he has passed him.
No, I think he's really no. I mean, that's the same thing that Mike did the Magic when he seen them at the 75th. It's like Mike didn't see nobody else for Magic. He's like, hold on.
Right.
Nigga, you like playing, nigga? You want to play some ball right now?
You're the only one I want to play. The rest of these guys, I don't even consider them like that.
Look. Wade and Gary Payton, all the dudes right there. Mike, look at it.
Nah.
You like playing, nigga?
It's levels, man. It is, man. And I think Jay and Nas know this too, where it's like they only see each other.
Right. So it's like,
and see, I don't like.
It's like,
the thing is, you know what I think also fueled Magic, and I don't want to give ourselves too much credit, but I think the fact that Memphis Bleak saying what he said, Jay saying what he said about no one can sit on that versus stage across from him and all that. Nas was like, okay, I'm just gonna go make some music. How about you see that?
See these bars.
Right. How about you see these bars, man?
This 4016 building, this Meet Joe Black, this Speechless, this The Truth. Come see these bars.
I don't care what anybody say. He's talking to Jay on those records. There's nobody else to talk to. Like you said, Michael Jordan spotted out Magic at that 75 joint. Like, there's nobody else to talk to. Nas the Goat says, Lupe's storytelling songs, he got King Nas, Bitch Bad, Intruder. Hurt Me So, Hip Hop Saved My Life, All Black Everything, He Say, She Say, The Coolest. Yeah, man. Lupe's going to get a great rating.
I love The Coolest. You know, when you say that about Lupe, I still don't think that Lupe is a top 5 storyteller. But those stories might give him some top 10 consideration now that I'm actually thinking about it. We need to consider that in the realm of where we maybe consider Kendrick as a storyteller.
Oh, who's the better storyteller, Lupe or Kendrick?
That's what I immediately thought when he started naming those records, because they do a lot of the things stylistically and intricately well on record the same way in terms of how they weave a story. Like, I like How Much a Dollar Costs, but I probably would play The Coolest first, because I think that's a more enjoyable record. The Coolest nigga would. Lord, please have sympathy and forgive my cool young history as the coolest nigga would. Because that's a dope hook game to go with a great story. It's a continuation off the first album, so he's showing, no, I can keep this going. Mm-hmm. He's got it.
Hey, look, man, this conversation can go on, and we're going to continue to take some notes, but I'm looking forward to Wednesday. We're going to have this whole thing shaped out. We're going to post it on our community section, too. I want to get to Dame Dash and Jay-Z and what's going on with that situation. Is that cool?
Of course.
Let me get to this last super chat before we do that. Marquez Davis says, Nas is the greatest. If you still doubting it, we can't help you at this point.
Right. Like I told you, it's like he made me stop playing. I mean, I'm just going to tell you the truth. Outside of like literally about 2 or 3 records, he made me stop playing the records on Rick Ross and Big Boy album. Because I was just like, well, I just can't allow you doing that while he's out here doing this. I just can't play this anymore.
We've been doing this podcast for 2 years. I have changed totally in my thoughts between, Jay and Nas. I was saying Jay was better, mostly because of catalog and his ability to stay so great for so long. But Nas has debunked that over the past 2 years. It didn't take too long to do that. I mean, when you put out 3 quality records and very quality records 2 in 1 year, and you've heard nothing from the other guys since 2016, which I wasn't a big fan of that record.
No. He's got a written testimony with Jay Electronica, which actually, coincidentally enough, started this podcast.
Yeah.
Ended my hopes of being the Ghostface Killer of hip-hop writers. Ended all that.
All right, well, this is what we're going to go to, man. Dame Dash and Jay-Z are still going back and forth with, I guess, I would say, in the court system, let's just say, over NFTs. And so there was news out earlier this week that they were reaching a settlement or something to that degree. And people were posting it like it was, oh, man, these guys are finally, coming together, yada, yada. Dame Dash is like, that's not the case. Let me go through this article that Hip Hop DX put out. And this is the one that Dame responded to. Because he actually responded to a Revolt article, but Revolt has taken down their article since Dame responded to it.
I think Hip Hop DX does an excellent job about keeping track of all the release dates for artists and singles and stuff like that. And they do a wonderful job about keeping the hip hop community informed in that regard. And they need to be commended for that.
They do a good job. I used to go to Hip Hop DX a lot when I was looking for new music. Like the first time I heard Bad and Bougie was on Hip Hop DX.
Right. They still do an excellent job with that.
Yeah, they do. Shout out to Hip Hop DX. But yeah, they wrote this article. It's like, let me get over here, get all this stuff out the way so I can read this article. I might have to move some things. Okay, there we go. It says, Jay-Z and Dame Dash in settlement talks about NFT lawsuit. Jay-Z and Dame Dash might not see eye to eye on things these days, but they're willing to work it out. See, this is the verbiage that's being put out. According to the court docs viewed by Complex, Jay-Z's attorney, Alex Shapiro, revealed on Tuesday, Manhattan Federal Court hearing that Rockefeller co-founders are in settlement talks over their resolved lawsuit. Hove sued Dame Dash in June 2021 after the former Rockefeller executive tried to sell his ownership stake in Reasonable Doubt as an NFT without proper permission. A district judge put an end to the NFT sale attempt by Dame Dash last year when the court blocked the transaction. Problematic. Both sides are in the process of meeting and conferring to determine whether they can reach a settlement agreement that will resolve this case. The docs reportedly read based on Shapiro's testimony in Tuesday's hearing. Dame Dash responded to the countersuit of Rockefeller, Hove seeking Jay-Z. I don't know why they keep putting Hove, man. Jay-Z seeking $1 million in damages, claiming that he was trying to sell 1/3 of the stake of Rockefeller altogether rather than the album. That's the claim that Dame is like, nah. So they're saying that Dame was trying to sell his stake in Rockefeller and not the album. So according to the Hollywood Reporter, the suit says that Jay-Z transfers streaming rights to the album to the S. Carter Enterprise LLC without authorization from Rockefeller. From my perspective, it feels like this was done all to devalue my asset, Dame told Hip Hop DX in the interview. I just don't understand why. What's odd is that they knew I was only trying to sell 1/3, but they're trying to say that I was trying to sell the whole thing. But we all know that that's not the case. So why do they keep saying it? The question is, why is it such a big deal? Why is everyone so scared for me to sell my 1/3? If no settlement is reached, Complex reported via Shapiro, that other motion will be filed on behalf of Jay-Z against the former partner, banning him from selling a portion of the album in any capacity. I'm going to go to Dame Dash's response before we talk about it. Dame Dash posted the article that said similar things about that Revolt posted. He said, please don't believe this hype. We are nowhere near a settlement. They are accusing me of doing something I did not do, and now they have to prove it. And I can sell my share anytime I want. Ask the judge. And Jay-Z and Biggs, if you want to settle this, holla at me. We used to hustle together. Court is corny. Let's talk like men for the culture. I dare you to respond. Do it for the culture.
There we go. The end to that. That's why I be getting down with him, even if I don't always agree with him, because it's like he says the things that really need to be said behind the scenes. He says them up front now because it's a business where everybody be acting like a bunch of bitches sometime, Mike. I mean, you know what I'm saying?
Where's Leroy Green?
And I'm not saying that Jay or Biggs is acting like bitches specifically in this situation, but it's like, this man has ownership and stake. Jay didn't start Rockefeller. Dame, Biggs, and Jay started Rockefeller. And so if Dame still has his ownership stake, who are you to tell him what to do with his stake on any sort of measure at any level, whether it be Rockefeller, Reasonable Doubt, NFTs, OPP, PPPs, IPOs? I don't really give a damn.
I think the part that got me, hold on, let me go back to this part at the end, man. They said no settlement is reached. Complex reports via Jay-Z's attorney that another motion will be filed on behalf of Jay-Z against his former partner to ban him from selling a portion of the album in any capacity. So basically, if you don't reach this settlement with us, we're going to file a motion to ban you from selling any part of this album. What kind of strong arming shit is that?
So remember when I was having that conversation earlier about Joe Budden and how he might be moving in different circles and thereby conducting his business matters differently now? And it may not line up with how other people are doing their business now. You see how this keeps on happening, even when you move up the food chain of prosperity, popularity, and finance. That bullshit don't change.
Here's Jay-Z's attorney, the one that's speaking. I'll put him on the screen real quick.
Hold on. Let's go ahead and have this be said. For who he is in this community, and for what this album means, and for what they mean, don't nobody want to hear from this nigga attorney.
No, man.
Dame, especially when Dame is out here like, this is corny, be a man. Like,
yeah, he like, just holla at me, man. Like, what is this?
No, because he borderline poking and being disrespectful. It's like, y'all know there's some hoe shit, right?
Well, the thing is, the story's changing. So you're saying that they're accusing him of trying to sell his overall stake in Rockefeller, which, from my understanding, he should be able to do anyway. And then, when that wasn't what was going on, you want to sit here and say you want to reach this settlement or he can't sell this album in any capacity. If y'all got this corrected, that he wasn't trying to sell his stake in Rockefeller altogether or whatever, what's the problem with him selling that stake in the album?
That's what I mean. Like, what's the problem if he actually has ownership and stake and, like, what's going on? Because, I mean, it's always about power and money, so I'm assuming this isn't about money, so more about the power involved or the control that would be probably released by him selling stake and stock and having to deal with other potential people, right? Mm-hmm. Just trying to, like, are they trying to protect it and keep it, like, as some sort of sacred moniker of a hip-hop product? Because all this shit been stepped on, Mike.
There's an Eminem fan in the chat that's really going in on me right now. Leah May. I guess they're really trying to get us to shift the conversation to Eminem. Listen, man, there's nothing to really talk about when it comes to Eminem. He's actually irrelevant at this point. Not really in the news like that. He hadn't put out a hot album in 20 years. So, Leah May, holla at him, get him to put out an album that we could actually talk about in the scope of the other hip-hop great albums that are coming out within the scope of the year. And Eminem could be a subject. But, until then, sorry. Eminem's music hasn't aged well. He doesn't have any new flavor shit going on. His verse on the Nas album was the weakest point on King's Disease 2. Sorry. Yeah. But back to relevant topics. I think it's unfortunate, man, and the way that they tried to put the narrative out there that this was a peace offering when it was strong arming. Because I think in the group that we're in, the hip hop group we're in, somebody posted this article and they was like, man, good to see these brothers working it out. I read the article, it's like, this ain't working it out. What are you reading?
No, it's funny. I saw that today, actually, for the first time. I saw that post, and then I saw that you jumped in and said what you said in the group that we're in. Shout out to the chat. Hold on, real quick, Mike. Shout out to Randall for telling me that Deshaun Watson was going to Carolina and getting my hopes up. And Deshaun's ass is in Cleveland right now.
He going to Cleveland.
Hold on. Randall was your friend before he was my friend. You just found him in the group that I put you in. Randall, I can't wait to find you. You had me twisting my fingers up in downtown Atlanta, pointing at people.
Ray Rims with the super chat. He says, "Yo, hold on 1 second. I want to make sure I get this super chat because it's a good one." He said, "Yo, can you brothers include a Sunday or Monday show? I sent the link for those musicians." All right, cool. Yeah, we might could be able to squeeze in a Monday show, man. Our schedules be tight, but we working it out.
I was about to say, Mike and I actually at the end of the year discussed picking up the option of a Monday show. And so our thing is not to oversaturate you guys, for one, but also for two, to make sure that we're kind of giving you like the same pertinent information, that our schedules are free for us to like actually do it at the level that we're actually accustomed to doing that now.
Yeah, because we don't want to rush through it. You know what I'm saying? We want to make sure we give you a good show.
Yeah, and we've only, been actually on the podcasting side for a couple of years now, so there's still some growth and room to grow. And I mean, we just picked up the Wednesday show that's a full show now. Used to be a short, 20 minutes. So
right.
Remember when we used to do the 20-minute shorts?
Yeah, that was cool, and that turned into an actual show. Wednesday was popping though. Like, yeah, we might need to do this for real.
On Wednesday, right? So
but yeah, this wasn't a peace offering to no extent. This was strong arming, and I'm glad that Dame jumped out in front of this and set the record straight and controlled his own narrative. Because it seems like whenever, even in the Shannon Sharp interview, which was dope, I love Shannon Sharp's interview with Dame, everybody seems to always come to Dame on some, well, man, why can't y'all work it out? And whenever Jay mentions his name, it's supposed to be looked at as a peace offering. Like what he did at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame or whatever. Like, no, that wasn't a peace offering. He just stated facts. Dame Dash believe. He said it on Mama Loves Me. Clark sought me out. Dame believed. That's a consistent story when it comes to Dame and Lee Daniels and Kanye West and Kevin Hart. Dame believed.
He's a visionary.
He is. Vision is scary for you Eminem fans out there.
I knew you were about to say that. I shouldn't have said that. Oh my God. I knew that was coming. I was like, why did I do that?
Thanks for the setup.
No, just stop.
I hope they're able to resolve this, and I hope that, I know that Dame's not going to allow himself to get strong armed, because it seems that Dame and Kanye do a lot of, business or whatever, but Dame seems very reinvigorated in this, not in this business, but just period. And he's standing on his square. He ready for whatever. So
I think Dame's just been kind of moving in silence standing on his own square this whole time. And it's just the popularity and the culture circle back around to him, because a lot of the things that he is actually what we love about our culture. And the originality, the innovation, the ownership, the power, the honesty, the uprightness about it, where it's just like, this shit corny. We from Harlem and Brooklyn, right?
He said, "I dare you to respond."
No, because that's what I mean. It's like he low key kind of testing their gangster as men, like on a fundamental level. It's like, I know where y'all from. Y'all know where I'm from. Y'all know at the end of the day, no matter how much money we have, we really don't get down like this. What are y'all doing?
Imagine we started something, just from the bottom. I believed in you as an artist, and it was like, look, we're going to go and do this. Me, you, and another person, whatever. 20 some odd years later, you're talking to me through lawyers? Come on, man.
Hey, Mike, can I be honest with you? I mean, not to be funny, but it's like, I know you started According to Hip Hop with a couple other guys, but has anybody come along to show them the faith in According to Hip Hop that I did when I came along?
No, I mean,
Right, and so like you and me are sitting here right now because it's like I reached out to you about some writing shit about 7 years ago, but I also told you it's like, hey, I love what you're doing. I see what I think it could be. I want to help assist in the platform. You get what I'm saying? So it's like, that's what I mean. It's like, no, that's why I rock with Dame. It's like everybody needs that because it's like, not to be funny, Mike, once upon a time I called you because I wanted to write for a hip hop publication, but I felt like that's something that you needed. Because I'm like, yo, it's like, is Mike writing all this shit really doing like, I'm like, no. I'm like, no, cut that, fam. We can win. Right. I was like, cut that, fam. We can win. I was like, what you need me to write? Like, you need an editorial? You need some reviews? You were like, I need whatever you can give. That's when I was like, oh, it's fucking on, Mike.
Yeah, man. And we made this thing happen.
Rick
Raw says, Coop is on that wine clock. Boys said it's Friday.
Yes.
Let's get it. Holla.
This is a little Cabernet Sauvignon.
Oh, yeah. You got to announce what you're drinking, too.
Yeah. This isn't like any of my fancy stuff. I didn't break nothing like super special out the bag. This is just like some Friday happy and blessed to be here and having made it through this week type of glass. And I want to say something right quick. There's a couple of people have been making a point to say something about me drinking when I'm live. This is about the only time that I ever actually drink anymore is actually live. Like, kind of why I do it. I kind of do it because this is the safe space for me to do it because I don't overdo it because I used to be an alcoholic since everybody keeps bringing it up. You know what I'm saying? Like, no, I used to be like a real alcoholic. So it's like when people are bringing up like me drinking during the show and it's like I have like a glass and a half of wine and it's like, I used to not even drink wine because like, I wasn't going to do it. You know what I mean?
Oh, so that's why, you got to go.
Right, I drink wine now because, right. So, just some perspective to have.
Brian says with the super chat, he says Eminem a 6 for longevity of records and say he's irrelevant. I got facts. Eminem's music from the 2000s decade is the most popular today. Popular today from the decade. He's top 10 on Spotify today. I guess we got to address this before we get out of here.
I mean, we're not necessarily done anyway because we still got to do the Kanye doc unless you got to roll.
Oh no! I was gonna say that was the last thing I think.
I was we still got a little breathing. No, I was just.
Let's talk about this Eminem's music aging and I want to ask people in the chat, like, honestly, Brian, I appreciate the super chat, and we're talking about Eminem music from the 2000s. Do you guys still play any of Eminem's music from the 2000s? Can we go down the list of singles? Okay, so Hi, My Name Is, okay? Last time you bumped that. You bumping that?
You want to know what? Actually, when I look back at some of his other singles, I prefer that song more than some of the other singles, actually. Like that, like that, Without Me, like I don't like any of that stuff.
Hi, kids. Do you like Primus? Do you want me to stick 9-inch nails through each one of my eyelids?
I thought that was pretty entertaining when I first heard it.
It was entertaining in a kind of like in a not like a match. What's the group I'm thinking about?
He was mocking the culture that you thought he was coming from. Like, I thought it was kind of creative.
No, it was tongue in cheek. It was a lot of tongue in cheek. But again, that's not. I mean, conceptually cool, but that doesn't mean I'm gonna ride around to it.
No, Guilty Conscience and Bonnie and Clyde are like, the ride around stuff.
Because I Just Don't Give a Fuck was technically the first single. You listening to that?
No, I don't, and I heard that long before the album came out too. So
I liked Role Model, and I might play it like every now and then. But
that's held up well. For a first album, like for him that I thought was uneven, I thought that held up well. That's one of that's one of the 5 best records on there. It might be the best. No, it's not better than Guilty Conscience.
Rick and Ross says, all respect, all respect. I'm beefing the bottle. I get it. I'm on behalf of the streets. We want y'all to know that we appreciate the movement. I'm in the A too. I want to help. That's what's up. Yeah, let's build.
Hit us.
Yeah, definitely. Guilty Conscious. Okay. This is the thing too. The content hasn't aged well because a lot of this shit that he said, you can't say anymore. What he said on Guilty Conscious cannot be. You're not gonna go out there and play a record where he's talking about basically date raping a 14-year-old.
Can I say something?
Mm-hmm.
In all honesty, Nas and Biggie, for their time when they were first coming out, part of the attraction to them was the shock level things that they were saying. Mm-hmm.
Biggie especially.
But
those aren't the memorable moments from Biggie, like
no, it's not. But let's not forget Nas's most notable moment on his first verse that you hear him on is he said when he was 12 he went to hell for snuffing Jesus. That was the line where everybody was like, "Whoa, nobody said or talked like that before." Even though the whole rhyme is great, verbal assassin, my architect pleases. Like that's that Rakim. Yeah, that's that follow the leader level. Verbal assassin, my architect pleases. When I was 12, it's like, hold on, that's something different though. Like nobody talking like that.
I think that's a lot different than the Guilty Conscious verse though.
No, I think it's comparable for the time because you have to understand in 1991, KRS-One and Rakim are not talking like that. Kool G Rap's not even talking like that. Kool G Rap is saying some awful shit. He's not talking about snuffing Jesus.
I feel you, but it's slightly different, man.
No, I'm just saying in terms of shock value. So
this is actually,
you think
Rick Ross has actually lost deals for even saying half of this.
You think it's demented what he's saying is what you're saying.
Oh yeah. I mean, not even just that. I mean, it's sick. Yeah, Guilty Conscience is and I know, I get it. They're playing a role, they're actors and all that. But again, I think that when you have content that couldn't even be played right now, that affects how it ages, right?
No, you're right on that regard. I'm trying to speak to some of the artistic merit of it, but it still goes down to replay value. Because what do I tell you about To Pimp a Butterfly?
That's true. That's true. DeCarlo says, Mike, oh shoot, man, chat's going so fast. He says, Mike, I'll be honest, the only Eminem project I go to is the Slim Shady LP because to me, that was when he was rapping at his best. His other albums have some of his best songs. I do agree with that too. Like, I liked his rap style the best on the Slim Shady LP.
Okay, but
I think the Eminem Show is his best overall album, though.
So when y'all are saying that, it's like, he hasn't totally learned how to rhyme on any and every beat the way he does on the Marshall Mathers LP and the Eminem Show. But I get what you're saying about the MC. But the timing and the delivery of the MC is succinctly better on the next 2 projects. And I think it's just noticeable.
All right, Real Slim Shady. We listening to that?
No.
The Way I Am. You bumped that?
Yes, I am.
You do? Okay.
No. That record holds.
Stan.
Yeah.
I can't think of a time when I listened to Stan, but I'll give you that. I mean,
I like Stan because sometimes it's like you want to know what that record is really dope and really intricate. And how about this? Here's how I feel about Stan. If Nas wrote Stan, we would be like Scarface wrote Stan. We would be waxing about.
But they have 20
right,
times over.
Oh, hold on. And we wax about it. Right. We shoot the gift about it when they do it. Right.
You know what Stan for Scarface is like Mary Jane. You know what I mean? Like he's done that.
I was actually thinking what is it? A minute to pray, a second to die?
Way better than Stan.
No.
Cinematic.
Hold on. That's a top 10 story.
That shit is crazy.
Maybe top 5. But what I'm talking about is that Stan, that's what that record is for him. And it's like, let's not take that from him. That's his Scarface, a minute to pray, a second to die. Yeah, a minute to pray, a second to die. That's his rewind, or one of whatever your favorite Nas story song. That's his all that I got is you. What's Ghost's best story?
I don't know. That could be it. Ghost got so many.
He does. You know how I feel about Shaky Dog off Fish Scale.
Yeah.
Ooh, you want to talk about a crazy story?
AKs and curtains. He said, "I'll play Eminem like Jeepers Creepers sleep cycle because of M stands." I'll play M like Jeepers Creepers sleep cycle because of M stands. I like Ghost on the Hilton too. I mean, it's so many.
Yeah, like I said, we all got our personal favorites. I just like the zone he's in on Shaky Dog. I'm like, man,
people are saying Maxine, like that one too.
I was thinking about Maxine too. I love Maxine.
I like Child's Play.
You love Child's Play more than I do. All That I Got Is You is still,
All That I Got Is You is next level.
Right. What's the other one? 260 with him and Ray.
Yeah.
The Heist. Yeah.
Do y'all listen? Do y'all listen to Eminem? I'm Back.
No.
We're not listening to Bitch Please 2 because we listen to 1. I mean, it is what it is.
Every time I hear that beat in my head, Mike, just boom, boom.
You don't want to hot box with me. I swing hard liquor going down on the second round. All hell to underground. How that sound? Exhibit backing down from a conflict. Come on, man. Blasting metal with every direction. Innocent bystander, learn of every hard lesson. I'm the reason there's no time to reach for the weapon. The reason why you keep on stepping. Exhibit ready to scrap like Mike Tyson with his license back. 9 to 5 minimum wage. What type of life is that for me? It's blasphemy. Man. Please.
All that flame, Mike. All that flame.
Yo, I heard that. I was like, yo, man, Exhibit is going crazy.
I was like, what kind of next level shit is this?
Even the edited version, he was going crazy.
Well, it was the beat. For me, I was like, what is that? What is that?
Bitch Please, the first one, brought the West Coast back.
Like,
single-handedly.
I was like, what sound was that?
East Village says, yo, Mike and Coop, can you please do your rating system on Tech 9? I think we should. Because I did it, and this brother has a rating far high.
No. I want people to know what I've been doing. I've been writing people down that like we may end up kind of like missing, but not intentionally trying to miss. And like to get covered. So I've been writing these guys down like Pharaoh Monch. When the dude in the chat last week came in the comments and said Pharaoh Monch, I wrote that down. Yeah. Heavy E, Tretch, Tech 9. Somebody said OC. I remember OC.
Sean Price is my guy, man.
World Life, Jules. I think Sean Price we knew was getting covered.
I love Sean Price. DeCarlo says, also, Mike, excuse me. Also, Mike, we to consider that most of us listen to black music and we're raised on it, so he is not gonna hit the same.
He's not.
It's the no soul argument.
Right. What I told.
Well, okay. Well, I think that's interesting because it's like, does that change the way we rate him amongst his hip hop peers?
No, I told you that was the thing. What Rakim say? I'm writing. Hold on, what'd he say? Well, I'm writing he said, I'm writing when I'm trapped in between the lines. I escape when I finish the rhyme. I got soul. Like he's saying, like there's an integrity and a soul that even which I'm writing the melody to. It's part of our culture and part of our music. And so it's like M doesn't have that. And that's what I've really been telling you the whole time. It's like, well, I don't want to knock him for that. It's like, if you want to tell me that he's not as great as Nas and Big and Pac and Jay, like he always gets compared to, oh no, I'm in total agreement with that, but I can't knock him from not having that fabric of soul that Rakim's talking about on Paid in Full.
Without Me. You're listening to Without Me?
No.
Cleaning Out My Closet.
Yes.
Okay.
That's the most soulful record he may have.
Okay. Superman.
I love Superman.
I like Superman a lot too. I like Sing for the Moment a lot. I listen to Sing for the Moment.
I'm not big for that. Superman though, don't get me wrong. I love these hoes. It's no secret. Everybody knows. No. He's flowing on there.
T says Eminem raps like a fax machine. Whatever that means.
I'm so disrespectful. I didn't even remember the last time I heard a fax machine to know what it's like.
That's exactly what they mean, I'm sure. What about Business?
Maybe, yeah. I can get down with that.
You like business? I didn't like the beat. Let's get down to business. We ain't got no time to mess around. What is this?
Oh, I can get down with it a little bit. I can.
What about Just Lose It? Mosh.
Not my cup of tea.
Encore.
No.
Like a Toy Soldier.
Negative.
Mockingbird.
No.
As Like That.
No.
This is why we say this about his records, guys. I mean, we just have to go through it. I mean.
So can we go back to something that I told you my younger brother had said to me while he was here?
Mm-hmm.
There are a lot of guys who we hold high who still have not made albums better than the Marshall Mathers LP or the Eminem show, though.
You don't think Tikal is better than the Marshall Mathers LP?
Actually, you want to know what? When I told you that, I thought to myself and I said, hold on. I think Tikal is probably better than the Marshall Mathers LP. But to your point, the Eminem show, and this is one of those, how about this? We're celebrating our 2-year anniversary. When I walked into this 2 years ago, I told you that the Marshall Mathers LP was clearly Eminem's best album. In the time that we've been doing this together, you're the one that's made me realize that the Eminem show is actually better than the Marshall Mathers LP. So Tikal is not better than the Marshall. So Tikal is better than the Marshall Mathers LP, but I don't think it's better than the Eminem show.
I'm okay with that.
Because it's not.
Ray Realm says, who's the better MC, LP from Run the Jewels or Eminem? I got Eminem in that one.
That's him.
But yeah, I do agree with you.
So
I think that the Eminem show is better than Tikal. I think I think the other person you brought up was Jadakiss, or your brother brought up was Jadakiss.
No, I brought up Black Thought too. Black Thought has official solo material that can be rated.
I don't like doing that with Black Thought because Black Thought's Roots albums, to me, they show solo output. So I don't like doing that with him.
Okay, what's the Roots' best album?
I mean, to me, Things Fall Apart.
Things Fall Apart, right?
Yeah.
What I'm going to submit to you is that if you would have told me Philadelphia Half-Life, I would feel you more because that's more of Thought's album. He's not rapping as much on Things Fall Apart. There's way more collaborations going on, Mike.
Yo, Blue Collar Hustler said something that I've said before. He said M should be exiled for the MJ and Will Smith diss. You know what? I never understood that whole Will Smith done got a cuss in his raps to sell records. But I do, so fuck him and fuck you too. Fuck Will Smith? Really? We let him ride with that? I never understood that. Can you speak to that?
No, there's no excuse for it.
Because honestly, Will Smith wasn't out here parading around like Will Smith comes from the 80s, right? You know what I'm saying? Like he comes from an era where none of the MCs were cursing. So go ahead.
Did the black delegation take care of Will Smith like we should have?
No, not in that moment.
Right. So it's not Eminem's fault that we didn't take care of Will. That's
but we're still doing it. You just heard the Slaughterhouse album. It's like people to shit on everybody else, but no, we're cool over here.
Right. No, it's not okay.
No, I never understood that either.
I feel more a certain type of way about the mic thing, but you know.
And the thing too, and it's like you were working with Jazzy Jeff, or Jazzy Jeff was working with you early on. So fuck Will Smith? Really?
Definitely in Philly with those Philly guys. Yeah.
I never understood that. And I never understood why that wasn't, brought to the forefront a little bit more. Because the only thing that Will Smith was trying to do is pretty much push positivity.
How many times have I told you that this started early with the hall pass that he was given? That's why I told you, it's like, well, you can't knock it this late. He got a hall pass early from this community. I've been saying that.
Oh, no, I agree with you.
Right.
This is why I go so hard because of that hall pass. Because as soon as somebody says anything outside of that, boom, you're a hater.
Right. So we're going to go to somebody who I've said it before. And Mike, you were I think Coop was right. He's the first person to say it. When I was calling Bruno Mars a culture vulture, this is why I was saying that, because it's like, no, like y'all be hall passing stuff and then somebody steps over the line and you're like, well, how is that okay? It's like, well, you let them in. Stop letting them in and stop being captivated by people who are captivated by our culture.
I think that's fine. My thing is just be respectful.
No,
Disrespecting Will Smith for no reason.
No, listen to what I'm saying. Stop being captivated by people that are captivated by our culture.
I understand what you mean.
There are plenty of gems and diamonds up in this up in this well, in this cave, in this mine, in this field, in this landscape. Wakanda forever, Mike.
Not Wakanda forever. Is that how you're gonna end that one? Shout out to Brian with the super chat. He said, "Coop, you don't like Sing for the Moment? Listen to the third verse in the song. I think it's M's greatest verse, in my opinion. One of the greatest ever. I like Sing for the Moment. I do like that last verse. Not one of the greatest verses ever, but you know."
I'll listen again.
He said, "I'll listen again."
I'd rather hear "Cry Me a River" by Justin Timberlake.
Oh my God! Did you like Crack a Bottle? Y'all listening to Crack a Bottle, or am I going too far now?
Just stop.
Okay. We Made You. Oh, that was bad.
See, just said stop. Just
We
stop.
Made You. Terminator 2 says Mike D. Lord Jamar addressed it. Good, man. I mean, because we sat there and let him say fuck Will Smith.
He did. He's right. Lil Jamar did address it. I remember that.
Fuck Will Smith. Really? Like, I never understood that, man. I wasn't cool with it when it happened. I was like, well, you know, it felt like how Hammer was being targeted at some point because he was the biggest guy on the totem pole and everybody was dissing Hammer in the early 90s. It was like that was the same thing to do with Will Smith at that point because Big Willie Style was the #1 record.
See, right. And see, no, it's a little bit different. Hammer's from Oakland.
Yeah, Godfather says Will Smith sells 10 million copies. Yeah, he was the target.
Right.
Marshall was going after all the pop stars, and it was safe for him to go with Will Smith because he didn't think Will Smith was going to run up on him. Remember when Nelly said what he said on TRL? That shit got deaded quick.
No.
Because even though Nelly sells 10 million copies, Nelly will whoop your ass.
Right.
He's like Hammer in that respect.
I mean, right. Back in the day,
Yeah.
I knew some of Nelly's back end type of Nelly and his people from the streets. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they from the streets. So like that whole "we going down, baby, your street on your Range Rover, street sweeper, baby, cop ready to let right." No. They was living like that in the Lou. I got some backstory about that from somebody that I knew. So
yeah, Nelly and them was with the shits.
Right. No.
Yeah.
That's hot. So that's live. That's real. But what's also real is the fact that, you know, Will from West Philly, and I'm just going to say this, I love Will Smith. I wish Will would have checked some of this.
I wish he would have too. I agree with you.
I don't know, because Will, enough pull, enough clout, that if Will step on you, you were stepped on.
I think Will should have addressed that early. I really wish he would have.
And listen to what I'm saying, Mike. No, he has the capability as an MC to step on you. That's why I be telling people, it's like, no. I like Will Smith the rapper.
Yeah.
He can out-rap a lot of these guys. Like a lot of these guys that people think are dope today, it's like, no. I'll take Will Smith over that guy. Will Smith will out-rap that guy right now.
I think, like I said, to go out there and quote Will for saying he don't have to curse in his raps to sell records, that was cool. But when he said, fuck him too, what? Nah, right. Man. That should have been checked.
Mm-hmm.
That should have been checked.
How about this? Because Rakim didn't have to curse in his records to sell either, but you would never talk about Rakim.
Never say that. You would never say that about Rakim or Kane. Kane didn't have to curse in his records either.
They wouldn't even let you in New York if you did that.
No, that's real.
It's real.
We should have protected Will in that moment.
Protected Will, because Will from Philly. Right. We should have protected Will. That's like we be failing sometimes because we be so caught up in the success and the clout that we don't take care of our own the way we should sometimes.
Shout out to LP for another super chat. He said Will Smith dissed Eminem when he accepted the VMA over him and said he didn't need the cursing to sell records. It was competitive, in my opinion. This wasn't like Hammer. I mean, even if that was the case, if you get on your record and say fuck him too, no, we got to talk about that. Because if I went out here and just said I don't have to curse in my records, I'm not specifically talking to Eminem. Everybody cursed in their records.
Hammer from the Yay, Mike. You can play with Hammer if you want to.
Yeah, definitely.
I wouldn't go to the Yay and play with Hammer. How about that?
Well, let's go to this Kanye doc, man. What did you think about the Kanye documentary overall, and what are some of the things that, well, I guess some of the things that's going on with Kanye right now, social media wise?
I'm trying the best that I can to be ambivalent about it, but you know, I'm always worried about his credibility. You know?
In what way?
Because he can say things that are so striking and so poignant that I never want his credibility to get to a point that it's beyond reproach, where people just don't want to hear anything anymore. Because I told you, Mike, there's a lot of prophecy in what he says. He says some very poignant and strong things when he is speaking. But what did I tell you also too about how prophets behave at times? It's like, oh no, y'all reading the scripture wrong. It's like prophets be off the chain, because they be like literally the messages that they receive and the stuff that they deal with, and it's like that's what I see going on with him. So like we don't war in the flesh, Mike. We don't war in the flesh. So there's a lot of things going on with him that I see that I don't agree with, but I don't want to say I know what's going on. I kind of understand what's going on. So I'm kind of like, at a point.
Is that kind of what you saw in the what was the 3-part series? In the third part, because we didn't get a chance to talk about the third part.
I mean, proof of his prophecy is all over these 3 versions. I mean, what would you call it? Docu-series, mini-series? Is it docu-series?
Docu-series, yeah.
This 3-part docu-series is proof positive to some of the prophecy that he's capable of, that I'm talking about, but it's also proof positive to like some of the problematic nature and behavior that comes with it, because it's like, I'm going to say this, you know, there's a fine line between having faith beyond belief and being a narcissist. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, there's a lot going on, and you know, and I don't want to talk around things too much. There was something that I saw yesterday that really spoke to me. I had a meet up with Ron yesterday. We were talking about some camera equipment, and we were sitting there, and TMZ came on, and one of the reporters was like, this eerily, talking about the situation with Kim, Pete, and Kanye. They said, this eerily reminds me of OJ and Nicole Simpson. And it's like, this narrative out here that y'all want to put out there that this guy is a threat to someone's safety, I think is irresponsible.
So let's see this. I mean about, okay, so.
But just based on social media posts, you know what I'm saying? But yeah.
Those are the things that are disturbing, Mike, because that's what I'm talking when he leaves himself open for those types of comparisons, when there is really no comparison to be had. First of all, I don't like the OJ thing, because what you're doing is you're taking the easy way out. Everybody knows who Kim Kardashian's father was and what role he played in the OJ trial. You get what I'm saying? So the way that
there's so many things wrong with that. I don't even want to get into that, but yeah.
Right, so that's yellow journalism. You're not really doing any work. You're just picking anything that you think is close that can stick. But
you didn't even pick somebody who was actually convicted of something.
Right, but also, too, like O.J. Simpson is also somebody who was super abusive, and it was documented that the police were letting the abuse slide. There is none of that going on.
Exactly. So there's no similarities in that regard.
There's no similarities even to the buildup of the murder.
The thing is, when things like that are said on television, you get the feeling that people are coached into saying things like that because they know what they can't say on TV. Ask Whoopi Goldberg. You know what I'm saying? You know what you can't say. And she felt cool saying that, and there's no backlash for it. She's not getting, suspended or anything. So that makes me feel like to say something like that, they wanted you to say that.
Now, can I say something too? And I'm being in all honesty when I say this.
Mm-hmm.
And this is what I mean about protecting our own. Well, if you want us to protect you, you have to stop pining after her because she don't belong to us. And that's real too. You see what I'm saying about how you leave yourself open for certain things? It's like, well, you're not getting the support that you want because she don't belong to us. And quite frankly, much like I feel about Bruno, you want to talk about a culture vulture and somebody appropriating themselves into this culture to make themselves wealthy. He is not helping himself in the things that he really wants to do by doing these things with her. But I would also submit on the other side, if she is not letting him see his children, then that's a whole problem. And he gonna cut a whole ass till she do, because that's what any father who really loves his kids is about to do at the end of the day.
That appears to be what's going on. I think it's two things that appear to be what's going on. That and the fact that he doesn't like this certain individual around his children.
Right, because if you want to see me go outside for real, that's the way to get me outside.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's when I'm going outside. And I'm not, and I'm not like him. I'm not going to post pictures or talk when I go outside about that.
Well, see, he's trying to get in front of the media. I think this is his attempt to actually control his own narrative, because if he doesn't say anything, that it's kind of like what Dang Dash just did in this, about this piece with Jay. If he doesn't say anything, they're going to control the whole narrative and say, this is what's going on.
Right. But it's also, too, Mike, don't save her. She don't want to.
I don't think this is about her. I think this is about the kids.
No. He makes this about her some, too. Yes, he does. And that's where he hurts himself. That's what I'm saying. This is not strictly about the kids. Because if it was strictly about the kids, the guy wouldn't be entering the conversation as much outside of the comment that the guy made as it related to kids. You feel what I am saying?
Well,
the guy
the
guy was being inserted before that comment was made. That means it's about her, not the kids.
You're right.
So don't
because
say
it seems like this whole thing started, though, and again, we normally don't talk about some of these things, but we're only doing it in the concept of Kanye because we're just coming off of that documentary. But I thought this whole thing started just based off of that birthday party that he wasn't given the location to, and the guy was there.
There are some underlying things going on.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is that she's keeping you from your kids. Damn that whole relationship shit with her. Go get your kids.
Oh yeah. I think that's over. I mean, I would imagine at this point, like,
right, right. So he needs
because even with the way that the public backlash has been, where he's being painted the aggressor, and she's not sitting there saying, "Nah, he's good." It took his ex-girlfriend to sit there and tell the media, because media ran up on her too. Like, do you think that Pete or Kim are being threatened, or Kanye's a threat to them, or whatever she said? She was like, no, Kanye's harmless. He didn't hurt a fly. It took his ex-girlfriend to say that.
Right. But
Kim could say that at any given moment.
No, because here's what I will give her. Listen to what I'm about to say.
She knows the courts.
No. A fool vents all their feelings, but a wise person holds back. That's a proverb.
Yeah.
It's applicable.
I think that. Do you think this documentary was coming out in a strategic timing? Because he needed this documentary, honestly, in a time like this.
I like it for him. Definitely gets him held up in a better light. He's not helping himself, and so.
Sam says, Mike, you didn't talk about Donda 2. That album was worse than the first. Ye needs to get his shit together and make a good album. I didn't hear Donda 2. You got the devices? I need to get the device in here.
I don't want to get no device to hear that.
I haven't heard anything about it, which kind of lets me think that it might not be that great.
Right. That's what I was about to say. The fact that it's been out on this device and people aren't talking about it like it's my beautiful dark twisted fantasy, or because it's not. So it's probably some more mid.
Man. So when we do rate Kanye, this period from, I guess we could say, from St. Pablo on, it's going to be very difficult. Derek Matthews says it's on SoundCloud. I'll definitely check, even though I do want to support the brother, but I'll check. What were you about to say, Coop?
Did you say support him after he stole all those millions of dollars last year?
Oh, my God.
You didn't say that, did you?
Well, I'll go on SoundCloud and check it out.
All those listening events where he made millions upon millions of dollars and then didn't really release the album. Then Def Jam forced the album out. And then it was all some mid anyway. But this time, I guess he's feeling like, well, let me keep this tight and close knit, but it's still some mid because we ain't hearing about it because it's some mid, and he need to stop doing this experimental as like
George Jr. Williams says it was
a long time.
People in the chat are saying it was terrible. I want to listen to it.
Like what I told you about the engineering, slavery. It's
going to be very difficult to rate him in our system, just based on what's happened from St. Pablo on, I guess.
How about this? Say. What's happening to him album-wise is exactly why I'm on this Kendrick thing.
Yeah.
All right. No. Don't give me that first 4 or 5 album stuff. Keep making albums like Nas, Jay, Scarface, Ghostface. Let us see.
Yeah. No, that's real.
Let us see who you are.
I mean, you know what? And I'm a big proponent of the creative process and the fact that Kanye has shown us that he can make, pretty much, classic albums in his sleep, right? But I do think that it's time for him to show us as an artist that he can do that again as an individual artist. The only thing that makes me like, okay, whatever, is the fact that he's gone more into the spiritual realm in ways that he wasn't before. So it's certain type of music I'm just not going to expect from him. But we will see. This is what we will see, though, Cool. Next week, Pusha T is dropping. He's highly involved in this, from what I understand, right?
In what? In the
Pusha T album.
Oh, yeah, of course.
So we're going to hear what he got production-wise and what input he had production-wise on that. But, I mean, for his individual legacy, if there was a time to turn it on and say, you know what, I'm going to make a classic Kanye West album, it might be the time now.
It doesn't even need to be classic. It just needs to be good, Mike. It doesn't even matter what genre or what realm he's working in. I don't care what you're doing. Make it good. It's about the quality of the music.
I like Donda, but I don't really feel good about Donda 2 with some of the things that people are saying and the fact that it's been out for so long and we haven't heard any of it.
This is what I mean when people say you like Donda. It's like, no, you don't, because it doesn't make you put on his other stuff.
TD says Donda was amazing and so is Donda 2. Okay.
Who said that?
TD.
Sound like groupie love.
I was just listening to Praise God today, man. Great record.
Praise God? That's the electronica record, right?
No, that's Lord Jesus.
Lord Jesus. Which one is Praise God?
That's the one with Baby Kim and Travis. We're going to praise our way out the grave. Man, that song is hard. Yeah, the beat on that joint, crazy.
You can hear the beat. Okay.
Yeah. Engineered very well. Okay. But, I mean, all right, my overall take from the docuseries is the timing of it was great. We needed that. He needed that.
Yes.
I don't know if it was more so in promotion for Donda 2 or if it was, the calm before the storm with all of the stuff that's going on now. But I think that for a lot of people that forgot, it did a couple things. First thing it did was it reminded people why they actually loved Kanye in the first place and fell in love with his music and material and all that in the first place. Mm-hmm. Number two, I think it kind of gave insight to some of the things that people didn't know that he was actually involved in and how involved he was in it. And the third part, man, it just showed how, I mean, because the third part, it moved so fast because, Cootie wasn't with him for, day in and day out on a consistent basis anymore. So it was like it passed through years so quickly. It just showed how much his mother was his rock, and not just as his mother, as his friend, and as somebody who didn't want anything from him, foundation. And she was able to keep people around him and around them that didn't want anything from him.
You need strong foundational structures, and you can see the struggles for him since she hasn't been there because his foundation is her and the things that she implemented and put in around him and instilled in him.
Very wise woman.
Right, and so you can see where where her not being in his life is a super big pivotal turning point and turning moment.
Even when he reconnected with his father and some of the stuff that his father was saying, like, he just wasn't her. You know what I'm saying? Like,
right.
Yeah. And, but you remember that part when he was in, I think it was in the Dominican Republic with those real estate agents and stuff.
Yeah.
Or not agents, but real estate investors. He was, I mean, I understood what he was saying, but he came across as like insane.
Okay. So
but I get it. When I hear him, I understand where he's coming from.
Right. Sometimes though, you know, like the visions come so hard and so fast. It's like, man, write it down and plan it out, and make it make sense to the masses.
But you can't do that in everyday conversation. The kids feel him, man. Like, you remember he got on.
No, Mike. Yes, you can do that in everyday conversation. I don't agree with that statement.
Well, write it down, and I think it just comes how it comes.
I mean, that's essentially how this generation communicates. It's all digital speaking, brief moments, thoughts, words, and excerpts anyway.
Why do you think he's connected with this current generation so much? Because I feel like
it's fascinating to me because he has not made any great music in a decade.
I feel like of artists that come from his era, he's connected more than everybody.
Hold on, you want to know what I will say?
He's connected with the youth more than everybody has.
And you want to know what? Very much comparable to the way Michael Jordan with the Jordan brand allowed him to connect.
Yeah.
Yeezy. The Yeezy brand. Yeah, it's the brand of the fashion side that's enabled him to connect. The music has not been there. So when you're talking about there's a generation that follows him, they're following the fashion icon and the music producer. They're not following the artist.
I said something on my personal page. I said Jordan is like Magic is a company guy. Jordan is a brand.
Oh, you said that.
And Jay-Z is more Magic, where Kanye is Jordan in that respect. People didn't agree, but Jay-Z is a company man. Jay-Z is Magic Johnson.
Do you remember what I said to you when you texted me that, when you put that up?
I forgot. You said, don't disrespect Magic Johnson?
Yes, I did.
Listen, Magic, even with the Magic Theaters back in the day, that was a partnership with Sony.
No, but what I'm saying is that, hold on. So this blacks into branding, making money off of your name and off of yourself. Oh, maybe not anybody more important in our culture than Magic. So don't be so quick to call him a company man. He's the reason the black company man exists as an entertainer.
Oh, no, I'm not knocking it.
That's what I'm saying.
It's not a bad thing.
Right. So it's like when because when you're calling Jay a company man and Magic a company man the same way, it's like, no, that's not the same company name.
Well, Jay broke down a lot of barriers, too. He made a lot of deals possible for hip-hop artists that weren't there before.
Puff wasn't doing the same thing at the same time a little bit sooner?
I don't think so. Not in the same way.
Master P?
Not in the same way.
So. No, I do think
you know what? I agree with you. Same
shit.
Nothing that Jay was doing was totally new. It's just the level that he was doing it at the level he was at.
That's what I'm trying to explain to you. It wasn't the level that he was doing. It was the first time that a top-notch MC got to do it.
There it is. No, I agree.
Right. So, but it's not beyond. That's what I'm saying. No. Other guys was up on game like that. That's
and Michael says Jay-Z is not a company man. Is he not? Because Ace of Spades got sold over to what?
I'm a business man.
No. Ace of Spades got sold over to what?
Damn.
Tidal got sold over to what for a seat at the Cash App table, right?
But Dame can't sell 1/3 of Rockefeller. Right.
Jay-Z took a president job at Def Jam, right? Right after Rockefeller sold their shares to the parent company, right? What you mean he's not a company man? Ain't nothing wrong with it. It's just facts.
No, he's a company man.
He's selling companies. That's what company men do. Not only selling companies, but selling it to get a seat at the Cash App table. He's doing a deal via on behalf of Live Nation under Rock Nation with the NFL. What are we talking about?
Keep telling people he's Richard Gere's character in Pretty Woman. I'm not joking. Like, that's who he is now. He's the guy that comes in takes over a company, sees the value in it, breaks the resources up, tears it down, sells it off, breaks it up, chunks up the deuces, and goes on to the next company.
The young people look at Kanye differently than they look at Jay, and that's just the truth. And it's because of those moves.
They look at Kanye like he belongs to them still.
Yeah. Tapping that, I'm gonna cover this and we'll get up out of here. It says Mike Wright, Ye connected. My 2 younger brothers listen to Ye, but ain't listen to anything pre-Yeezus. That's crazy and incredible to me.
How are they surviving doing that? How is that going?
I mean, sonically, he has influenced the current generation so much that they don't even want to hear the stuff before Yeezus.
But I feel so sorry for them, though. You know what? Do they know what they're being subjected to, though? Oh, it's terrible.
I think
That's
they
no
know.
way to live. That's no way to live and listen to Kanye. It's not. You play late registration for them tonight.
Michael says, so Mike D, Snoop is not a company man? Yes, Snoop is a company man.
It's a great company man.
Yeah, it's nothing wrong with that. I'm not saying it in a negative sense.
No, what I'm saying is what these guys do, Magic is the one that put that shit in motion.
Oh, yeah, he did. He did. Wasn't no athletes really doing it like that at that
No black people doing that.
That's true.
Black people. Yeah, black people weren't putting their names on movie theaters and TGI Fridays.
Yeah.
Unless I missed something.
Great 80 says 808s is super influential. Yes, I think 808s and Heartbreaks changed the game. I really hate, this is what I will say about the docuseries. And this is why I think that it's going to continue to go on. And I think that a Kanye West documentary is probably being made right this minute with all the stuff that's going on right now. It hadn't stopped. I hate that we didn't get footage from My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy era, because I think that era alone could be a docuseries in itself.
If I'm not mistaken, that was like a 2-week trip to Hawaii.
I believe so.
I don't think they can document that. I don't think there'll be any documentation of that.
There's that, and then the Watch the Throne was kind of skipped over too. So there were some holes during some of the real pivotal moments. You're not a big Watch the Throne fan.
I'm sorry, what did you say? Watch the Throne?
You're not a big Watch the Throne fan. I think, you know what?
What'd you say?
The impact of Watch the Throne is undeniable, right?
No, it's not.
But I do think that
it's not. Stop saying that. Like Mike, real talk. I want people to tell me the 5 classic rap songs on there. Name me 5 classic rap songs on that album.
All right, people in the chat, name the 5 classic rap songs on there. Coop doesn't believe that
Watch the
Throne is a classic.
It's not.
I'm not there with classic.
First of all, half them beats are some mid. First of all.
Ricker Ross says niggas in Paris.
1.
Niggas was in Paris.
I've been a nigga in Paris, in Versailles, in Disneyland, and all. So what? Next.
Niggas in Paris is okay to me.
No, you know what? They don't like niggas in Paris. That's why I enjoyed the South.
Ryan Gillum says, I don't like Watch the Throne.
Because it's not that good.
Great 88 says Supreme merch, anybody with Supreme collabos, and okay, I thought it was.
It's real. Do you know how they treat niggas in Paris who they don't see on TV though? Y'all know that? Because I do.
I've heard. DeCarlo says Watch the Throne is a classic because the way it was marketed. It was marketed that
5
way.
songs and stop kicking that bullshit.
Prime Time, Otis, Niggas in Paris.
2.
Can't Stop. Otis.
Like I said, we're still at 2. We're still at Otis and Niggas in Paris.
Prime Time is the best record, along with That's My Bitch. I like that record too.
What, you like That's My Bitch?
Yeah, that record was crazy. Q-Tip on the beat.
It's better than Prime Time.
Yeah, I didn't like Prime Time that much.
Prime Time's not
Rigger
good.
Ross says, Coop, come on, man. I'm a Jay-Z hater, but Watch the Throne was 5 mics.
3. We got 3 songs right now. Y'all can't even give me 5.
Gotta have it. I like Gotta Have It.
That's not
Murder to Excellence. The Joy.
No.
Yeah, The Joy was great. Come on, man.
You think The Joy is a classic hip-hop record? I said name me 5 classic hip-hop records since everybody keep calling it classic. Every hip-hop
No Church in the Wild.
Now, there we go. So you're telling me.
The Joy is the only time that Jay-Z and Pete Rock ever hooked up, man. Murder to Excellence. To me, that's the best song on there.
No, I'm with you on Murder to Excellence. If you want to say No Church in the Wild, I'll kind of give you that. If you want to say Otis and Niggas in Paris, like that's fine. That's 4 for me, though, because I don't think there's anything classic on there other than those 4 records. That's why I say give me 5. Murder to Excellence, No Church in the Wild, Niggas in Paris,
Made
Otis.
in America.
That shit is not a classic. Why are y'all talking about this stuff like it is classic? It's not even classic. How about this? These songs that y'all are naming wouldn't make either one of their greatest hits. That's how I know they're not classic.
I remember when it came out, people liked it. I kind of liked it. I ain't gonna front. I was kind of like Coop on it. But see, the reason why I was like that on it is because based on what those guys have done together, I was slightly underwhelmed by the overall output. I thought that it could have been better. I thought Jay didn't sound comfortable on a lot of those records. And,
he didn't.
Just my opinion.
He sound like Kanye records that Jay jumping on. That's one of my favorite. I was like, you're Hove? You're following Ye around? Like musically?
Did you like I Can't Stop?
No, I don't. I don't like
Who
like
gonna
that.
stop me, huh?
Like, I don't like Jay in Kanye's zone because Jay doesn't sound great in Kanye's zone. The biggest problem with the album is that the beats don't fit the greater MC. The greater MC sounds lesser.
What about Lift Off?
What about it? I'm naming these mid-ass records and calling them dope. Y'all don't play this stuff.
You know what? I'm kind of with Coop on this. I think that album got amplified because of who made it.
Right. Let's hold on. Like, no, real talk, and then we can go. Let's run down the track listing of this and tell me if this sounds like a hip hop classic to you.
You got to pull it up. Or you want me to do it?
No, I'm doing it right now. Okay, so it starts off with No Church in the Wild.
Yes.
Right. So this is what I'm saying. That's wonderful. Lift Off. No. Niggas in Paris. Yes. Otis. Yes. So we're 4 songs in. Oh, they got you good. Let's go to the rest of the fucking album, though, after those first 4 songs. Gotta have it. No.
No. Stop. Gotta have it's tight. What you need? What I actually like Gotta Have It more than I like No Church in the Wild and all them records.
I don't agree with that. It's better than Lift Off. It's not better than Niggas in Paris, Otis, or No Church in the Wild.
It's like, ain't that shit just like D-Wade? Ain't that like LeBron James? Hey, oh, man.
Joy, Primetime, Hand, Illisma, Why I Love You, Made in America. No, this is not a classic. What? Hold on. Tell me where you would rank this album in Kanye's greatest set of albums and in Jay's greatest set of albums, and that's how I'm going to show you that it's not a classic.
Oh, yeah. I mean, just based on that alone now. What I was going to say, Distant Relatives, though, that's better than Watch the Throne to me.
Yes, it is, and I don't think Distant Relatives is a classic either, Mike.
No, Distant Relatives is really good, though. It's not a classic, but... Right,
and this is just good. Watch the Throne is good. Distant Relatives is really good. Neither one of these albums is a classic.
Okay, classic. Before we get out of here, if you were rating Watch the Throne, do you want to do a grading scale or do you want to do 1 through 5?
We can just give it a 4 out of 5, Mike, and that's me being generous because it's really a 3.5 to me.
Well, on that note, we are out of here. And yes, next week we're going to be rating, Common, Prodigy, Lil' Kim, Tupac, Ice Cube, MC Lyte, T.I., Scarface, Jadakiss, and Lauryn Hill. Catch us on Wednesday, 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Sound good? 4:30-ish?
How many mics do you rip on a daily?
Many.
Say many.
I get mad frustrated when I rhyme.
Right. When you said her name, that's exactly where I went to in my mind. I was like, right there.
And we got a super chat going out, man. That says Distant Relatives more classic than Watch the Throne. Okay. We'll put up a poll.
Neither one of them are classic. God made this word. You can't get with this. Sweet like liquor, rich, dangerous like syphilis. Yeah.